Welcome everybody once again to the Black Desert Mobile Ramoness Championship. I am Valdez, joined by once again Sherna and Trent, and we are here for the Asia region finals. This is going to be pretty interesting. We did America yesterday. We have Europe a little bit later on. And how are you guys feeling coming into today?
It feels good, man. After the America tournament with as many close calls as there were, I'm excited to see where Asia's going to take it.
I don't think we're going to get anything as close as a couple of those games, like 3-point difference to finish off a best of 5. Like, I just don't think we're going to get that. Some of these teams coming into this Asian region, though, are incredibly strong. Like, they've been here before. They know what it's all about. So I'm expecting to see, at least in the semifinals, a couple of straight 3-0s and then a very close final.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, as Sherna said, a lot of the players here do have quite a storied history within the Ramoness tournaments. However, I'm a little bit different. I think there are going to be quite a few close calls. Maybe not a 2-point difference in a win, but I want to say like a 30-point difference. 30 to 15.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, how close the competition is here. But first of all, guys, I know you're all very curious about the events that we have today. Same ones as yesterday. We have the coupon event, we have the BRC viewership event, and of course the audience participation photo event. So if you do go to the official website, you can check out more of the details on that. What is the website once again?
world.blackdesertm.com.
Okay, there it is. Go check out the website, go check out what events there are. Yesterday the coupon came at the end of the day.
Yep.
I would assume that probably that would be the same. So if you're waiting for the coupon, maybe check out the end of the broadcast as well. And participate in all the other stuff so you can win some cool goodies like some of the players are earning just by participating in this tournament, which we will get into a little bit later. Lots of great prizes for everybody that is involved in this. Everybody gets a puppy if you are in the top 4, so that's what I'm really happy about. And actually we do have our prizes right here that can kind of break down a little bit more of what you're getting by participating in this tournament.
Yeah, so first place gets 50,000 pearls, the Ramoness title, the Golden Crown, the trophy, which is the legend rank version, and then, of course, the greatest gift of all, the Black Cape Puppy Tier 6. And that is the one prize that is given to absolutely everyone who participates in this semi-final.
Yeah, and second place comes in with 25,000 pearls, a Ramoness finalist title, Ramoness Silver Crown, the trophy that is the Emperor version, and as we've mentioned countless times now, the puppy.
Yes. And not only those 2 top teams, but also the 3rd and 4th place teams do also get a puppy. But as you can see, some less rewards. So everybody that makes it here, of course, gets the pet. But at the same time, you're going to be fighting for even more rewards by trying to make it to the top of the bracket that we do have here. We also do have a MVP award, so the best player from each region will pick up 1,000 pearls. That is voted on by all of us and the production staff. And the Dominator Award is basically the MVP of the MVPs. So there will be 3 MVPs, 1 for each region, and then we'll choose 1 overall best player from this entire Ramoness Championship, all of the regions included. And that guy will get 2,000 pearls.
Yeah, and we take a look at the maps. As you know out there, it will be Temple Raiders and Keeper of the Relics. Temple Raiders is a much more closed environment, slightly less objectives to go for, whereas Keeper of the Relics, much more open, a lot of points to fight for, and we have seen considerably closer games on Keeper of the Relics than Temple Raiders.
Especially with the class composition of certain teams where if you're a lot more ranged or far more mobile, Keeper of the Relics is the map for you. However, Temple Raiders requires a lot of strategy and a lot of adjustments. So we'll see how that goes in the best of 5s and then eventually the best of 7 for the finals.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. And for you guys who are just tuning in for the first time here are the rules. So both semifinals, we're going to have 2 of them, obviously, with the best of 4 format. And then we have a 3rd place match after the 2 semifinals, which is between the 2 teams that did lose in the semis. These are all going to be best of 5s, and we're going to alternate maps with the final map, if necessary, being random between the 2 of them. You can call a timeout, which is basically just a chance for you to go over, whatever you want to talk about. You can talk about what you're going to eat for dinner after the match if you want. We don't really listen in or anything like that. But the most important thing is that you can change your class which has happened.
Yep.
I don't think it happened during any of the timeouts. I think in between games it happened yesterday. So, but that's just another option that you do have.
Yeah, and then the grand final of Asia region will be a best of 7. As you said, the random is that last map. It came into play quite a bit yesterday and generally rolled on Keeper of the Relics. So it'd be interesting to see what that will be today, because each team does have basically their preferred map, especially with their compositions going into the tournament.
Yeah, and as we take a look at today's matchup, it'll be BBB versus L, and then B Sports Gaming versus Its Time, and then the third place match, as Valdez has said, and then we get to our grand finals.
Yeah, so each region has 4 matches, basically. And it's going to be interesting to see, which team comes out on top. We're going to take a look at our first team, actually. This is BBB. They're playing with Nova, Fletcher, and Berserker. And they are BBB from Mist Guild in the Serendia server. Their strength is teamwork. They focus on the match as a team and not on the individuals. We would be thrilled and honored if they can win and become the champions. And you can see that overall, they don't have the highest placements so far. Just one round of 32 placement from Project. So this is the farthest any of them have ever come.
That being said, though, but for them to actually make it into the semifinals is already quite an accomplishment on its own. You see Project Mujo and Bad Soul with their class compositions, one very ranged and 2 close range, but one has more dashes than the other, so they can move in and out.
Yeah, Project has been on record to say that he is the best Nova player in the tournament and also in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how Project performs on Nova, a class that we haven't seen in the Ramoness tournament at this stage of the tournament. I don't think we'll see it again. I think only Project is the one player who is playing Nova at this level.
At the semis and the finals for sure, yes. Now we're going to take a look at Team L here. So finally, Enmu and Pyong. Their class composition composes of an Archmage, a Fletcher, and a Raven. A lot of long distance here, with the Raven being able to close in those gaps.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how this one is going to work out. They don't really have too much of a front line, as you mentioned. A lot of range, obviously, and a lot of mobility with the Raven specifically. They do have one thing to say, and only one. We are newbies, but we got lucky. We'll see how that works out. I mean, at least finally has made it to a quarterfinal before, so that's a round of 8. So that's not half bad, actually, at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up. Yeah. They might say they're newbies, but they do have a 100% win record. L are on top right now on every map. Just quickly taking a look at the numbers there. 4-0 and 3-0. So 4-0 on Temple Raiders, 3-0 on Keeper of the Relics. Their opponents, BBB, slightly different. Not having a great time on Temple Raiders, but 100% record on that Keeper of the Relics map. It's going to be interesting to see how they face off in this matchup, especially BBB, who are maybe considered one of the stronger outfits between these two teams right now.
Absolutely, they do have a little bit more story behind them, but their record on Temple Raiders is something to be looked into, because it could be because of the people that they matched up with, or it could be just that is not the map for them. Whereas with L, it's just a clean sweep there.
Yeah, or maybe they just got unlucky.
Pretty much.
Like Elganom was saying, we just got lucky. So maybe that was the source of their victories. Generally not the case. Generally, if you're winning, it's because you're actually just good.
And luck is just opportunity meets chance. And they've taken advantage of it. So you made it to the finals. Whether you're lucky or not, it doesn't matter, you're here.
Look at that competitive philosophy coming out here. It's sage advice. Right. Going into this, who are you expecting to pick up the victory? I think Elganom, the 100% win record does say a lot about the team and the composition they have, but we can't count out BBB, right?
For me, I personally prefer BBB's team composition.
Yeah.
Having a mix of everything, because that's more or less where I play. Whereas with L, it's very much, we're going to rain destruction from afar and just keep you at bay. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, but I think with BB's team of having a Berserker that can kind of close in distance, we're good to go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these two compositions do clash, and actually we do get to see it right now because Game 1 is ready to go, so let's hop into the Ramoness right away. All right, here we go. On to the first map of the day. Temple Raiders for BBB up against El Gnome, as we do hop into the action right away.
Yuxi finally getting up in the face of Project and Mujo. Not getting much done, but the damage has been done to Bad Soul, who is about to go down on that right-hand side. So we'll see if Enmu can get the kill, and he does.
Enmu was definitely putting up a strong fight there, just chasing down Bad Soul. Bad Soul did put it up, but just couldn't get it done there. Mujo now going after Enmu from a distance there. But Mujo hangs on quite well.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good so far. You know, he's got the most points alongside of the most health compared to Enmu, that is. We're taking a look at him over here, of course, on the Fletcher. Being quite annoying, you know, hopping around, doing his damage as you do on the Fletcher. He's getting pretty low, though. A lot of battling between these two teams to start off the match.
Yeah, Enmu coming in with the slight weakness on the Fletcher is that he ended up being backside and couldn't see Project in the background, and really did pay the price because Project just absolutely slayed him there from behind.
You know what, with finally being the Archmage there, playing very aggressively, playing up front, which is very strange as an Archmage player there. You don't generally see that. You would expect your Raven to be able to do that for you.
Yeah, we do see. On terms of the objectives of the map, BBB do currently have 6 orbs compared to 4 of El Gnome, but that could all change as we enter the start of the Lagos section of the map when everything starts to go dark.
Yeah, as Sharon has mentioned, they do have the objective lead there, but they also have the PvP lead. So, you know, with Lagos spawning, let's see where this takes off.
Yeah, you know, with the Lagos, it's always interesting to see. This is a pretty significant lead already. You know, sometimes you see 10-point leads. This is pretty large at this point. Bad Soul does go down, so finally does get the kill, but he goes down himself, and now there's less last hitting power. Who's gonna get it? It actually ends up going to Pyong, who picks it up there and has a ton of points for his team now.
Yeah, does take down Project as well with the lightning, and that is a huge loss on the side of BBB.
Essentially, in that exchange for the Lagos there, Mujo also went down, which swung the points in the favor of L over there.
Here we can see here Pyong hiding in the bushes, making sure that doesn't get caught out, doesn't lose this advantage that his team has, because if he dies, the battle will swing towards BBB, who are on the absolute hunt right now, trying to get these points on their side.
You know, they didn't take any time to kind of recollect. They're just kind of hunting down Pyong as much as they can. There it goes. Pyong does go down right now.
Yeah, and he was fighting. You know, he wasn't backing down from the fight, even with all of those points. And honestly, he did a lot of damage to the enemy team at the same time. So they defeat all 3 of them after Pyong goes down.
Oh my God.
And actually, El Gnome are in pretty good position here to take this map.
Yeah, they are. Mujo needed to get that kill, couldn't quite get it, and the map does look like it's going on to El Gnome's side. It would take a miracle at this point to swing it the opposite way.
Yeah, with 20 seconds left, I think splitting your forces trying to take on 1v1s is not the right play.
Yeah, and the lightning is picked up here for Pyong, so that's going to seal the deal, even if Enmu finally go down. I think that's still going to be a win, and there it is. Temple Raiders will go over to El Gnome for the first victory in this best of 5. And pretty interesting the way it goes, you know, because the early game was all BBB, but then it turned around with the Lagos.
Yeah, it's almost as if El Gnome was like allowing BBB to get ahead, to get those points, so that by the time Lagos spawns, Lagos is a huge target. He has tons of points on him, and they know they have the power to come in at that point, get the kills, which is what happened. They killed a couple of the people on BBB, took the Lagos, and then just held the game on throughout the rest of that match.
Yeah, it seemed that BB did have the objective advantage as well as the PvP advantage early on. But then Finale and Pyong just kind of turned it up. You saw an Archmage go so close and just started wrecking people as much as they can. Whereas you have Pyong who's just kind of ducking in and out and finishing off kills. So then Pyong became your point carrier in that match.
Yeah, and it felt pretty good, you know, for the Raven to get that last hit and just have the mobility to just kind of dash in and out. But the best thing about that strategy for me for El Gnome was how they realized, okay, there's a minute 10 left and the Lagos is down. We're carrying all these points, we're ahead, but we can't just run away from ahead for 70 seconds, right? We have to actually fight. Otherwise, we're just going to run, eventually die, and then they'll slowly lose. So either way, guys, we're going to get to see the second map as we are ready to go right now. So let's hop back into the Ramoness right away. As here we go. This time, Keeper of the Relics will be the alternated map here, of course, going back and forth as we move into the second map.
Yeah, both of these teams have a 100% win rate here, so one of those teams is going to lose that record after this one. Is it going to be BBB or is it going to be Elganome? Money would say Elganome after that first match, but we'll see what happens on Keeper of the Relics. The Ballistas going down as they usually do, down to a little bit of HP so that they can easily be cleaned up right towards the end. And Project here just running behind his own Ballista.
It's quite different from the Americas, because what we saw in the Americas is right from the get-go, both teams ignored one another, went for the Ballistas, whereas here we saw a team defend their own Ballista first before they went in. So I'm not sure how that's going to swing in their favor, because they did take quite a bit of damage protecting.
Yeah, we can see Project just dashing around behind this Ballista, just moving around with that Nova. Not really getting any purchase in PvP, but finding points here and there. Emu, though, a slippery fish as he is, just stays alive with Nixon. No HP and starts to heal back up.
Yeah, you got that artifact of healing, that big orb that will just keep him in the game, as actually the salvation going the side of Project. So this is going to be pretty nice for BBB here, especially if they can wipe the side of Elganome.
Yeah. Right now with Enmu taking that down, Project is in the lead there. Project gets another kill over there. And again, it seems like it is like the last round where BB early on takes the PvP advantage, but in this one, L has taken the objective advantage with equal amount of orbs but one statue from their end.
Yeah, but that one statue, the points did end up dropping as Finale did die there, so we can see Project sitting on 26 points, Bad Soul on 18, and only Mujo less than 10 right now as you see the Lagos engagement, and BBB are all over this Lagos.
They're all over and just not worrying about the peripheral damage that's coming to them, but just to see who gets the last hit on this, and it is Mujo with it. So BBB takes the Lagos. Now we have to wait and see how the Ballistas play into play.
Yeah, and they didn't only get the Lagos, they got a couple of kills on top of it, and Pyong, even though he's not worth many points, he nearly dies after that. So this is all BBB right now. They're gonna have to take down Mujo if they want any hope, Elganome that is, of coming back in this match.
Yeah, we can see more fights now focusing around these Ballista. Now, we saw yesterday a lot of very early Ballista takes. It doesn't look as though we're going to get that this time round, with both teams just running out the clock, feeling each other out, trying to put each other into a bad position when they need to try and get that Ballista. Enmu there picks up a huge amount of points though.
Finale get caught up in that 2v1, but hasn't been completely taken down just yet. Enmu going around taking orbs and then kind of shooting from afar, providing cover fire, but Finale does indeed finally do go down there. And now the 2v1s are really taking their effect on L.
Yeah, we also see BBB absolutely controlling the objectives right now. 15 orbs in their favors, now 16. It's 143 to 26 as we see the Ballista need to start going down. One goes down to Mujo, who's now carrying 385 points, and he is getting a little bit low. If he gets caught out, this could all be over for BBB.
There's not enough time, a second left, and it was close as they were trying to get that damage down, but Mujo will survive. And this time around, you know, one of our teams is going to finally take their first loss here. It is Elganome, and to be honest, BBB looked in total control that entire time.
Absolutely. I think the open field there allowed basically the Berserker and the Fletcher to kind of dash right around where they want to go. You saw basically Mujo just dash in, out, take all the orbs that they need to do, and then whenever you saw a teammate in trouble, okay, let's hone in on this 2v1 here. But Sharon said it just a little bit earlier, the way that the Ballistas went down is very different from how it went down in the Americas.
Yeah. In the Americas, we saw them pump up the Lagos with the Ballista kill, so it ends up having massive amounts of points. Then they take down the Lagos. Then, you know, it's all hell breaks loose. It's all PvP from there on out. This time around, it was leaving it until the last minute, which I think is the much safer decision. It's a lot less risky. So it's nice to see both teams playing it slightly safer on Keeper of the Relics, but BBB maintain their 100% win record on that map.
Yeah, and as we saw in the beginning of the first map as well, they were in big control and kind of lost it once they lost the Lagos. They maybe had to desperately try to claw back some points, and it didn't quite go their way. So I think there's a really strong step forward for BBB, as they do look like the better team so far, but we'll see as we go back on a Temple Raiders, Temple of the Relics, just combine the two. But yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see because, as you were mentioning, the composition may have some problems on that map.
Yeah, and generally with the first two matches that we've seen in the Americas and what we will see today as well, is that in the first two matches, you kind of feel each other out, see what their basic strategy is for those maps, and then just run it down.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we've seen it time and time again that the first two is like a feeler, as you're saying, like find out what they're going to do and then see if you can counteract it. But you never want to be the team that ends up changing your strategy going into the next map. You want to be playing your game, controlling it the way you want to control the game. And unfortunately, I don't think BBB can afford that against Elganome on Temple Raiders.
Absolutely, I think you have to kind of dictate the pace, but since both teams do have very different playstyles, as is on Temple Raiders as well as on Keepers of the Relic, it just, whichever team gets to pull the other team into their speed, that's the one that's going to take it. So you saw L pull them into their speed on Temple, and you saw BB to pull them into their speed on the Keeper.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to get to see the next stage here. We're going to jump on to map number 3 right away and see who will take the lead right now. So here we go once again. Temple Raiders for map number 3. As last time around, BBB got a big PvP lead, but then fell behind with the Lagos. We'll see if any changes happen here this second time around.
Finale again, playing very aggressively, kind of charging in as the Archmage there, but is flanked by Enmu and Pyong there.
Yeah, we can see Enmu though taking quite a bit of damage on that Fletcher, who is, it's looking like he might go down. Muju though is also struggling, has to heal himself up as Bad Soul goes down. Enmu there picks up another objective. It's currently 3-1 for Elganome, who, once again, this time though, like they're controlling the map a lot better at this from the gates for Elganome. BBB kind of on the back foot at this point.
But as we say that, Pyong is just about to go down. Their Finale at the heels. Pyong also on their heels, and it has been going down. It seems like this is a different side of BBB. You know, we saw this in the first matchup as well, where in the beginning the PvP control kind of goes towards BBB. But, you know, I'm not one to count L out of this.
Yeah, that's all about to go down. Does manage to get a little bit of healing as Mujo goes down behind him. But, like, the whole of BBB right now are struggling as Bad Soul basically goes down here. Does get the heal up. Finale's on these
get the
last bit of health.
Yeah, he's going to heal him up with that salvation. That is perfect timing there. And they also get the statues, so a pretty large lead at this point in time for Elganome. So a bit of a swap compared to the first time we saw this map.
Absolutely. BBB does need to focus their battles on to getting into 2v1s as opposed to 1v1s all around.
But now it's what matters. Lagos is on the field. Who's going to be able to get the final hit here? Mujo does pick up a statue for his team, but they are currently behind in orbs. They're behind in kills. They need to pick up this Lagos immediately or as soon as possible, as Finale gets the freeze onto everyone else. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, right now the engages are 2v2s. Enmu's now coming in for the 3v2. And you just gotta wonder, how is BBB going to try and make up for this point differential here?
Well, taking down Finale would be the first step, and then taking down Lagos would be the second. As you can see, both teams fighting around here. We can see basically Finale sitting around the outside waiting for his time to come in. Elganome are going to make this move. They're in. Enmu is there. Pyong is there.
But Mujo does take Lagos there. And now we see a little bit of a point swing. Now we're pretty close again. They've got to be able to take out Pyong. And does Pyong go down on this one?
Well, Finale does go down, and Pyong, I think, is down as well.
Go down.
The two of them go down, and now it's going to be rough. This is kind of the same situation as the last map where Muto had all these points, and he is not an easy cookie to crack here, as he is near full health, and Enmu's trying to get in his face, but he just gets dominated. Mujo not backing down from the fight, and he is going to clutch onto those points.
Yeah, he's got to be careful that he doesn't get caught out, play with the back to the wall as he gets hit by the lightning. Is he going to go down? He does. Mujo is, I think, out here.
Yeah, he did go down, and so one more kill would do it, and they find Project against the wall, and they're going to get a big kill right with 3 seconds left, and that's going to be the win for Elganome as they get 2 clutch kills right at the end of the map.
That was a clutch play in the last 5 seconds. It looked like it was going all BBB's way right at the end for the last minute, and then, my goodness, what did we see in the last 10 seconds there?
Yeah, it was a complete collapse on the side of BBB. They ended up getting caught out from behind. Like, they had their backs to the wall. They had nowhere to escape to. Project felt like he got caught in no man's land. Like, he was just respawned. He had all these points on him, and he's just static. He's not moving around. He's not trying to get out of that position, and he just gets wailed on.
Absolutely. It was just, again, just the matchups didn't work out in favor of BB near the final minute. When they were kind of controlling it in the mid section of that battle, they were getting their engages properly, but then it just seemed like L was able to basically dissect their entire strategy and go, okay, we're going to pick you guys apart and we're going to focus this way.
That was pretty interesting to see how they were able to make that work. And, you know, the series has been pretty back and forth. I wouldn't even be surprised if BBB are able to take another leap forward on Keeper of the Relics. And speaking of which, we do have map 4 ready to go right now, so let's hop into it right away. As here we go, back onto Keeper of the Relics. Protect your ballista, destroy the enemy's ballista is the name of the game. We'll see if we see more safe strategies from these two teams.
Well, we can already see that BBB are kind of protecting their ballista from any kind of damage right now. Like, trying to bait Elganome into their ballista and fight around there before pushing on their own. But that's just going to disappear as we are now on the red side. We're at Enmu's ballista, and the fighting is all over the place right now. It's really hard to say where things are going, but the orbs are up. So that's going to give at least an objective for these players to go and get.
Both teams are trying to make sure that they don't get caught in 2v1s, and you can see here teams are trying to conglomerate together again, but Bad Soul goes in, tries to take out Enmu, does take down Enmu as well.
Yeah, pretty aggressive move, and a lot of fighting around this one ballista as well. Can pay off, but at the same time you can see a lot of members of BB did go down at the same time. So kind of the trade-off there. Slight lead here so far for Elganome.
Yeah, we saw Bad Soul with that initial engagement, which worked out initially, but then all three just kind of closed in on him that way. Now we see Pyong and Enmu kind of circling around, providing cover fire from the edges there.
Yeah, Enmu trying to get down Project, but Project is pretty well protected as that Nova. He's trying to throw down some ice against his opponents, but not really landing much is Project here. And we see the freeze on BBB. Can Elganome punish here? Project is low, so is Bad Soul. The statue goes the way of Elganome as well, and things are looking gravy for Elganome at this point.
With the Lagos coming out now, you see Finale and Pyong with a little bit of health down, but you see Project as well as Bad Soul in equal dire straits here. Bad Soul going down, taking a lot of hits there.
And you can see that ballista as well. He had to take a lot of shots at that, did Enmu, because it's still not that low. So there's still a lot to do here for the side of Elganome. And now the Lagos is going to go the way of BBB. Although Project is going to get knocked down. Mujo, once again, he picks up the last hit. This is not going to be an easy guy to kill.
And you know, Pyong going down as low as he is right now, that is going to be a hefty loss, as well as Finale if they do indeed go down, because now Project and Bad Soul are looking for those points and hunting it down, while Mujo is going to be protecting as the point carrier here.
How many times have we seen Mujo and Finale go head to head and Mujo come out on top? It's happened time and time again on these Archmages, as Finale is incredibly low and just behind Project. If he turned around, might be able to get him here. Project on the run, and oh, okay, he's back up, and it looks like Finale is in a world of hurt, but does pick up that orb again and survives another day.
Finale going down. Pyong is almost down as well. The points are going the way of BBB, but we still haven't seen the ballistas come into play just yet. We've seen them make a play in the last 15 seconds. Will we see that again? We're about to find out.
Oh, that's a big salvation. Everybody on the side of BBB is full health now. You can see Mujo is able to go on the aggression because of that. and actually get Pyong very low and take him out. And with comfort, they're able to take down the Ballista at the same time. There's not really much time for Elginum. They need a kill and the Ballista at this point in time. As the Ballista will go down, but immediately Finale dies right after. So that's going to be BBB once again tying it up, and we will have a 5th map in this first best of 5.
Yeah, for L, who has not experienced losses before, this might be a little bit weird. It may be the time to call a timeout to kind of recollect your thoughts. But, you know, as we saw at the end there, BB took the Ballista and then forced L to, all right, if you want to catch us, you got to take out the Ballista. And then they just waited for them to come there and then just rain down punishment in that vicinity, which killed their point carrier.
I mean, the random here is so important because Elginum have only won on Temple Raiders so far today. BBB have only won on Keeper of the Relics. This 5th and final map between the two teams, depending on which side it goes on, we might have the victor based on purely on which map comes up.
I'd be very surprised if they don't take the timeout now, because I'm sure both teams do realize it's like, yo, we only won on this map.
Well, I have some news for you. There are no timeouts, and we are going directly into Game 5.
Okay.
Nobody is scared. They say, we don't care about the map. Let's just get right into the action. And that's good news for us, because we can as well. So let's take a look at game number 5 and see who will be the victor of this first semifinal.
Oh, and it is Temple Raiders, so advantage goes towards Elginum straight off the bat. Who is going to be able to take this? We see a little bit more posturing than normal between these two teams. Usually it's a bloodbath within the first 15 seconds of the map.
But again, as you say that, they just all met in the middle, and here we go. Pyong going down, and Mujo is just trying to provide as much cover fire as possible. Oh, Pyong almost down, sorry, my fault on that one.
Look at him. How is he still alive? He's going to use his last bit of health to take down the statue, but now he's got to try to survive with all that health. He is frozen. You can see Bad Soul trying to run straight at him, but can't quite pick up the kill just yet. Pyong able to survive for an incredibly long amount of time, but it looks like he will go down now.
Yeah, just tried to survive as much as they could and then provide as much punishment possible. Bad Soul took a lot of damage on that engagement and does go down as well right now.
And Emu goes down as well. That's a big pickup for Project here. He's currently carrying about 18 points and racking up these orbs for his team. It's currently 3-4, but both teams within touching distance of each other at the moment.
Yeah, right now, the way that the point spreads are going is that BBB seems to have a more equal point spread, whereas you see Finale on L. Not to say that it isn't doing their job, but is providing as much cover fire and taking the hits.
Yeah, Emu kind of getting stuck in a corner, does use the Fletcher's mobility to get out of that tricky situation as Bad Soul goes down again here. But Project and Mujo are the ones carrying all the points, so he's not the big target for Elginum as we see the Lagos is now up.
Yeah, as we enter the Lagos phase here, both points were seemingly close with the objectives, but you know, PvP has been swinging back and forth here, especially with the amount of engagements. Pyong engaged by Bad Soul here. Can Bad Soul actually finish this off? Pyong is just keeping the distance and hoping for a teammate to come in and help. Finale now, they're joining him.
Yeah, still a pretty nice lead here. Pyong again is just so low. We've been following his story because it's been living on the edge for this guy the entire time. They would love to take him out here with the freeze, but he's still alive, so not able to take down Pyong. And now with the Lagos taking a bunch of damage, a minute left here, BBB really need this Lagos kill to try to come back.
How on earth is Pyong still hanging on? There's only so much that luck can do for you.
As you say that, he goes down.
I apologize for casting bad luck.
Oh, who's it gonna be? Who picks up the Lagos here? BBB gets it! That's so big! As now with the lightning, they are looking for even more kills on top of that. As it doesn't look like they'll be able to take anyone else out with the lightning, but there's not that much time and they've got a nice lead here.
They are regrouping now. Mujo following in with Project, kind of keeping a distance there, and now engaged by both Enmu and Finale. Not sure if they're gonna be able to finish this off though.
He's being tricky right now, moving back and forth. Pyong trying to get this statue to just at least give them a chance going into the last 20 seconds of this one. It's 101-93. It couldn't get closer. 110-84.
Pyong goes down. Finale goes down. This is not looking well for L right now.
Enmu with the lightning, he needs to take someone out, but he can't, and there's double salvation on the side of BBB. Nobody's going to go down, and they will take the victory here in game number 5. And what a close one that was, with the statue going down to the side of Elganom. It really was anyone's game to take, even down to like 20 seconds left.
That was a nail biter right at the end, but then, you just saw, was it Enmu go down? You saw Pyong also go down, and that just sealed it from there.
I mean, BBB shaking off the curse of Temple Raiders in that 5th and final. It's almost as if it was written in the stars, right? It's 2-0 on each map. It falls on their opponent's map, and they're like, all right, well, now it's time to game on and get ready and get into this one. And they end up taking it in spectacular style. I mean, Mujo on that Archmage constantly got the better in the last 2 maps of that over finale. Every time they went one-on-one, Mujo won.
Yeah, Mujo was doing quite well, and you can't discount Project and Bad Soul for their contributions as well. Bad Soul was mostly doing the initial engagements, even though it took a lot of hits and had a few deaths, maybe some that you didn't want, but did enough damage for the teammates to kind of clean it up at the end.
Yeah, that was a really close match to start off. So we had a lot of close matches in the Americas as well, and we weren't sure exactly what to expect, but this first one going all the way is pretty interesting. And I feel like that's good news overall, because honestly in the past, I think especially the last Ramoness Championship we did, it was like 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 4-0. It's like, okay, well, what's going on here? Like, how are these teams so much better than the other teams and stuff like that? But this time around, it does feel like everybody's really kind of on the same level, and that creates some really fun Ramoness.
You also saw BB make some final adjustments on temporaries. The way that they were initially starting off on those maps, they just charged head on first. Whereas on this last one, they kind of held back a little bit more and stuck together as a group. Whoever was most mobile or didn't have an engagement went around for the objectives. Whoever did have engagements, another person came in to help and get them out of dodge if they were down.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they played it flawlessly, but you got to feel for Elganom, who kind of every map they won, it was almost like a blowout. They controlled it beginning to end. Obviously, there was the points where, BBB looked as though it was happening, but it looked as though that was part of Elganom's plan, because as soon as the Lagos went down, it was like a tidal wave going over BBB every time. Lagos goes down, suddenly everyone on BBB is dead, and all the points now belong to Elganom. It was this kind of crazy, we're gonna let you think that you're winning and then just snatch it from you. But Elganom, they played almost flawlessly on Temple Raiders.
And we're gonna take a look here at the match result. This one is really close overall, even closer than some of the other matches that we've had. But you can see that, Mujo was the main carry on the side of BBB, and on the other side for Elganom, it was Finale that was doing a lot of the point carrying there.
As we've been saying it throughout the tournament on the Americas, and we will be saying throughout here, the points don't tell the complete tale. I mean, you see Bad Soul with the least amount of points on their team, however, played an amazing role in terms of just taking the hits and getting as much damage as possible before going down.
Yeah.
Pyong and Enmu were doing the same thing. Again, a huge congratulations to both teams for keeping it so close.
Yeah, I mean, everything went right for BBB in that final game. I mean, you can't really say much. Mujo was playing Archmage, right? I think they were both playing Archmage in that last match. Yeah. So they did make a swap from the Fletcher that was shown there. Yeah. So interesting pickup. It did definitely work out for BBB there.
Mujo switched to Archmage, whereas Bad Soul switched to Windwalker. And I'm not sure if that worked out for Bad Soul or not, because I don't know if they feel more comfortable with Berserker, which is what their main was, or Windwalker. But in the end, just played an amazing role for their team.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. So, of course, as is the way of things here, we generally have a break. We have our next matchup coming up, which will be B Sports Gaming, fantastic name by the way, up against It's Time. So speaking of which, it is time to go to that break before we do go on to the second semifinal of the day. So we'll be back in about 15 minutes for that next Ramoness. Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the Black Desert Mobile Ramoness Championship. I am still joined by Sherna and Trent, and we're getting into the second semifinal of the night here for the Asia region. We just had BBB advance up to the finals of a very closely fought best of 5. They made it through in game number 5, in fact. And now we're going to move on to the next one. It will be B Sports Gaming up against It's Time.
Yeah, It's Time might be familiar to people out there. Two of the members were previously Queen's Gambit, and they've taken one from No Excuses, which was from the last tournament. So they're very storied, but so are their opponents. B Sports Gaming, they've been around the block. They've been on Easy Sports, and they're just everywhere in this game. So it's going to be a very, very close match between B Sports and It's Time.
Definitely, this is going to be a battle between two very storied team compositions, which is going to be great. But as we can take a look, BBB advanced with a 3-2 out of the best of 5. Map play definitely came into play here. How did BBB and L do on the two different maps?
L dominated Temple the first 2 times and then lost on the last one. I mean, they played to their strengths. But we are going to take a look at B Sports Gaming. We have Easy, Maki, and Zeps, and you can see that's probably the most lines of previous tournaments you will see from any team in this tournament.
Yeah, and you can see that they've been around the block. As you mentioned, Maki in June of last year was able to take second place in Season 2. We have a couple of winners, Easy and Zeps, taking the championship in the event match number 2 we did in October. So these guys have been around the block. I feel like their class composition as well is pretty standard. You know, a lot of mobility with the Berserker and the Raven, and then you have some ranged damage with the Archmage. So pretty interesting. Also, they're a team that was formed by a top CT adventurer formerly known as Ninja Bee in the Caltheon server. So I'm sure a lot of his fans will be cheering for this team. Again,
like we said, very storied team here. It will be interesting to see how the Archmage plays, because we've seen this kind of team composition before with the Berserker Archmage Raven combo. However, each team has played it quite differently. Sometimes the Archmage is standing back, raining destruction upon everybody, or other times, like we saw today, where the Archmage goes up front on the front lines and tries to take as many hits as possible there.
Yeah, and we always have the Raven. The Raven seems to be this kind of anchor whenever they're on a team, in that they are the ones who are getting up in the face, but they also have that quick escape. They have so much mobility in their kit that they're the one who can make these key plays for the team. And talking about key players, we have the Berserker, we have Easy, who, I mean, he's a champion, he's got to the round of 16 before, and we've seen Berserkers be the ones to kind of take the hit when it comes to points, but when it comes to actually allowing their team to play, that is the key position of the Berserker. They might finish a game on 8 points, but their effect on the rest of the game is huge.
And here we go with It's Time with Juggerboy, Aquarian, and Kid9 with 2 Ravens and an Archmage.
Yeah, the composition pretty interesting, right? Double Raven will be pretty annoying to deal with, but Juggerboy, you'll notice that he got second place, but he still won the MVP. I remember casting that last December. It was an incredible final, and this guy was actually insane, to the point where even though they didn't win, Juggerboy still won the MVP, which is pretty uncommon, and it's just because he had such an incredible final there, as, you know, he was joined by Aquarian in that run, and they are quite a strong team. So based on my memory, I probably have to favor these guys to take the win, and at the end of the day, I feel like this side of the bracket also is stronger, so I feel like whoever wins this semifinals would be my favorite to take the whole thing.
What about whoever loses? Do you think they'll take 3rd place?
Probably, yeah. Usually the way it works, yeah.
But here we go with how their maps have turned out. B Sports Gaming 3-1 on Temple Raiders, Keeper of the Relics 3-1 as well. Pretty consistent. Probably not, like, it depended on which teams they faced up against, whereas with It's Time, 3-1 on Temple Raiders, 4-0 on Keeper of the Relics.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that Keeper of the Relics match plays out, because both teams have a very strong record here. Unlike the last game where BBB had a very terrible... Was it BBB who had the wonky record? Yeah, BBB had a wonky record on Temple Raiders. So we're going to see how that plays out with both teams having that winning record on both maps.
Absolutely. With B Sports Gaming as well as this time, even though we did list the key players, both teams have informed the staff here that there really isn't a key player. A lot of them are based on team play. We cover for each other, we do what we need to do, and we just play our roles properly. There's no one person above the rest.
Yeah, and a lot of teams have mentioned that as well, but specifically these two, and that's what you got to do. Everybody has to do their part. And we do have game one ready to go, so let's hop on to Temple Raiders for the first map of this second semifinal. And off we go once again. Generally, this first map here is very good for feeling out the other team's strategies, see what they want to do. And you can see already that a bunch of one-on-ones have broken out.
Yeah, Mackie kind of ended up in a 2v1 situation where we saw Easy rotate very quickly to help him out. But Mackie has taken a lot of punishment so far, but he has still to fall, and we see that the orb's going more in the way of its time in this early game, who have a very slender lead after about, 40 seconds.
And Zeps does go down. It will be interesting to note that while we did say that Mackie generally plays Archmage, has made the switch to Invoker this time around. Whereas for the team composition for its time, they seem to be on par with what they wanted to do here.
Yeah, and Jugger Boy almost down there, does come back up. So we see Kid9 in the bushes. Kind of the key player right now. He is absolutely kiting the absolute living daylights out of Easy, who needs to retreat because he is in a world of hurt, and there he goes down. Again, Mackie down as well. Only Zeps remaining. Kid9 is on an absolute tear at the moment and is focused now on that Monument of Battle.
Absolutely. This is quite different from what we saw last time, where this is a lot more aggressive in terms of doing your engagements, making sure that they can't just go around getting around with the objectives. The objectives seem to be just peripheral damage.
Sometimes you get this with a couple of teams that are very confident in their PvP ability, where you're just looking to outfight the enemy team. You can just destroy them. And it's been pretty close so far. Its time does have the lead here. As you mentioned, Kid9 has been doing some pretty crazy stuff. Holds the majority of the points. The Lagos now has spawned, but nobody seems to care too much. Okay, finally, we're going to have some damage done to that objective.
Yeah, both teams kind of feeling each other out. Zeps there getting caught. Zeps is the main point holder on B Sports Gaming, so it's going to be interesting to see how he engages in this Lagos, because if he goes down, it will be lights out. Easy is out.
And that is a massive last hit there. Kid9 able to pick that one up, and this guy is just having an incredible first map, and that's why we've been keeping the camera on him, as now just totally wiping out the enemy team. They're looking to take down the Monument to Battle here as well, as all three of them. And okay, it's actually going to be Zeps who does take that one down, but he is very low.
Kid9 is quite low right now. Juggerboy also quite low. You saw Kid9 as soon as he got the points, was flanked by both their teammates, but does indeed take the hit now. And now the B Sports are trying to make a big play, trying to take down Juggerboy, take him down, and the points are back together again.
Oh yeah, and they are going to get that kill onto Juggerboy now, and it's really anybody's games from here on out.
Yeah, we're 2 points between the two teams right now as B Sports getting more kills, getting more objectives, putting themselves in the lead as they have the Lightning here. Are they going to be able to get Aquarian? They are, and now he's going to be on top of Juggerboy as well. Mackie with the absolute plays right now, getting these massive kills.
A shaky start, but has become the point bearer alongside with Zeps and Easy. You can see the points being shared over there, whereas with Kid9, Juggerboy, and Aquarian is the one that's doing the initial engagements and taking as much damage as possible and dealing as much as possible before he dies.
And that freeze is perfect, but a couple of kills either way. It got pretty close there at the end, but at the end of the day, it will be B Sports Gaming who does pick up the first win here. Zeps, the MVP of that map, as he does pick up 46 points in total. And yeah, ended up pretty close towards the end, but B Sports Gaming actually able to pull that one back.
I mean, Easy was in a world of hurt in the last, 15, 20 seconds of that, just dodging around, almost got caught out. But the kills went back and forth regardless, because I think, you know, It's Time maybe overextended ever so slightly, trying to get those points, knowing that they're on the ropes. They had to play overly aggressive, and they got punished for it in the end, but it was the right call.
Absolutely. When Jugger Boy did take the points for It's Time, you saw them being flanked by both the teammates, but did play a little bit more passively, which gave B Sports Gaming a little bit more time to kind of recollect and go, okay, let's do this. Let's split them apart, go nuts.
Yeah, and by the way, about coming together and taking some time, it's time for a timeout for It's Time.
Okay.
That's confusing to say, but they have taken a timeout. And, you know, a map like that where you feel like you're in total control, Kid 9 is kind of just taking everybody out, holding the majority of the points, you feel like you're probably going to win, and then it's snatched away from you. Definitely a pretty good chance and timing to go for that timeout.
Yeah, I gotta say, Kid 9 was phenomenal in that first map. Like, the results obviously went the way of B Sports, but Kid 9 was an absolute joy to watch. Every engagement just seemed to go his way, and he just didn't lose.
Yeah, you know, nothing to take away from It's Time there. They just worked really hard. The last 10, 15 seconds is the one where it just kind of changed the tides of everything, where, you know, one kill after the other. It just is a domino effect in the last 10 there.
Do you think they're going to make a class change on this team, or they're going to stay with this current composition?
My opinion would be for Keeper of the Relics, because of how open it is. Having the two Ravens and Archmages could work very well in your favor, because you're going to be really hard to catch, whereas in the Temple, it was just, I don't know, Kid 9 made the best out of their mobility, but I don't think anyone else could keep up.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that as well. I think maybe just keep it as it is. You know, don't really mix anything up, and you know, it'll be interesting though, because these guys, you know, they're very practiced. They may have something else up their sleeves. Maybe somebody wants to hop onto a Fletcher, maybe grab some more range damage or something like that. That would be my only, perhaps, suspicion that maybe they go for something like that. But yeah, maybe just wanting to regroup themselves after the loss in that first map.
Yeah, and I mean, Keepers is It's Time's strongest map. They're 100% win record. They're 4-0. Will they be able to make it 5-0 and draw us ever closer to a second 5-game match today? I mean, I want to see it, because both these teams are undeniably great.
Absolutely, and just to see, like we've said this earlier, that the first two matches are pretty much feel each other out, but you know, they took the time out just to kind of calm their nerves, I assume. If they make a class change, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. The timeout, not over just yet. Generally, we give, I think, 3 minutes, 2 minutes about?
Would you guys go ahead and do a class change if you were in this position?
No, it's too
this early on.
Yeah, it's too early.
Yeah, that's why it's a pretty interesting time to take the timeout, you know?
Yeah.
I think if I were going to do it, I would do it after game 2. You know, if we got like 2-0, I'd be like, okay, timeout right now. I'm just glad that they are using the timeout, because it is free. It's not like we charge. It's not like we charge them, or, you know, not money, not pearls, not anything. They don't get any disadvantage from it, so they might as well.
And it's a good talk to have for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
so
just to calm your nerves down. We saw that in the Americas. We didn't see it in the first round for Asia though, which was very surprising. I imagined that there would be before the, you know, the 5th game there.
And we do have the map ready now, so the timeout is over. Let's jump on to Keeper of the Relics for our second map of this best of 5. And here we go. We are on to the map. Doesn't look like there's any class change from the side of It's Time, so maybe just looking to talk it out and see what strategies they have ready for the second map.
This is a strategy that we saw mostly in the Americas, where both teams just go ahead, ignore each other, try to take the blister down as much as they can so they can make a play in the last, you know, let's say minute or so. But as we saw in Asia, the ballistas came to play in the last 15 seconds.
Yeah, Mackey's taking huge damage here, but still being able to dish out, get back, survive, which is what he needs to do. But both him and Easy are struggling right now as Easy goes down. Juggaboy and Kid 9 with the point advantage this early in the game, and It's Time also controlling the orbs pretty well so far. It is 3-1 in terms of orbs, as we see the monument here maybe going the way of It's Time. They are the ones who are piling on the damage here.
Yeah, it does seem like that, but no, it does go to B Sports Gaming, taking the last hit on that one. And you gotta wonder about Easy's mentality here. Taking a lot of damage, may go down as the sole point bearer at this point. Maki as well, very low. What are you gonna do with this?
He's got to hold on until he can get some kind of healing, whether that's like through skills, through like the orbs. He needs something because he is a breath away from dying here. And we see that Kid 9 is the one to take him out and pick up a huge amount of points.
Yeah, you see Aquarian there dealing as much damage before they go down. And it's probably understood that Jungle Boy and Kid 9, you are the point bearers. I'm just gonna go in there and make the initial engagements. Whereas Jungle Boy is biding the time on the outside over there. And now Lagos does appear.
Yeah, and it's pretty incredible, this roster of its time, adding in Kid 9. These 3 players are really awesome. In terms of the PvP, they were bested in the first map, but let's see. I mean, they've got a large lead here on Keeper of the Relics, as a lot of fighting now around the Lagos.
Yeah, we can see Maki running for his life here from Kid 9, who then just decides to, you know, disengage. Maybe try and hold a few spells as he's doing here. Can Kid 9 get anything done? And will Lagos in the center go down? The bars are disappearing on Lagos.
And
who's going to get the final kill? It is Jugaboy. Jugaboy picks up those points and now has to kind of survive.
Jugaboy takes the points and pretty much 60% of B Sports went down, and now Zeps finally takes the hit as well. This is a huge advantage for its time. They've got the orb control, they've got the PvP advantage, and now we have to wait and see how the ballistas come to effect. But you gotta wonder, B Sports Gaming has gotta get a few PvP kills here on Juggerboy and Kid 9 especially.
Yeah, Juggerboy is gonna have a target on his back. We'll see how well he can survive. You can see Easy and one of his friends over there trying to get on top of him. Not quite able to do so. But as you mentioned, you know, they're so far behind. B Sports Gaming have to get a couple of kills at least. You know, the ballistas are going to be 300 apiece for each team, so looks like they're going to try to take that down early and then look for the kills after.
Easy, having the most health, does take down the ballista, and now it's time. Still has a ballista in play. 15 seconds left. Let's see how this kind of turns out. Kid 9 taking a lot of damage here. Easy engaging with the 310 points, though.
Yeah. He kind of has to, you know, 4 seconds left, and the ballista's still up. They're going to take it with 2 seconds left, and even though a kill, I think, was taken there right at the last second, that is still going to be the win, going the way of its time. Love the timing on the kill of the ballista with 2 seconds left.
Yeah, they could not have left that any later. If there was a single freeze there for the side of B Sports Gaming just to delay that ballista kill, it would have been their win.
Yeah, absolutely. My God. You saw, for me, B Sports Gaming, this is the first time I've seen this in the tournament so far, especially with the Americas. The point bearer, having 300 plus points, just went on the offensive.
Yeah.
And just, no, you know what, I'm not holding back. We're doing this together. And did get a couple kills, but in the end, its time does take it. And I do believe the map, as open as it was, helped their team composition up.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, they are undefeated on that map still. To this day, its time are undefeated. So we're going to have to see how that plays later in this, because the next map is going once again to be Temple Raiders.
Right. Do you think that its time will be able to make the necessary adjustments on Temple Raiders? Because, you know, they did look a little bit disoriented in the last minute of Temple Raiders. Initially they were okay, but in the last minute it just seemed like B Sports was all over them.
I think the closed nature of the map makes it a lot harder for Kid 9 to do what he's doing. So we're going to have to see as we're going to get into the map.
Yeah, looks like map 3 is ready to go. So let's hop onto that right away. All right, back on to Temple Raiders here, as it was relatively close last time around. And both of these maps have gone down to the last 10 seconds to really be the deciding factor.
And again, on Temple Raiders, what we see is just straight up PvP engagements. None of the let's take each lane, go for objectives, whichever ones we can. They just went straight forward and tried to engage as fast as they could.
Yeah, and Easy's going to pay for it.
Yeah, Easy's taking a lot of hits there, but does kind of get out of dodge for a little bit. And now going for the orbs on the side. Orb control is in the direction of its time, but B Sports needs to either get healing orbs or just be able to take a couple of kills here. Juggerboy does indeed go down now. So does Aquarian. Kid 9 also going down, is being hounded by Easy.
Yeah, but Easy is also incredibly low, and he does go down. Kid9 and Easy taking each other out. So nice little trade there between the two. The points are still relatively close. So at this point, it's all going to be about the orbs, about this statue. As Zeps is trying to get it down before, someone comes along and hits him, because he is incredibly low.
When you're down at that much health, do you just go on the offensive and say, how much damage could I do? Or do you just try to survive and take orbs? That kind of strategy we've been seeing quite a bit. Mackie taking a bunch of damage here. Easy also kind of going down. Easy goes down. Zeps nearly is down.
Yeah, and they're able to take all of them down in succession there. And with the monument up, they're just going to look to focus that one down, get the last hit. Guys, well, okay. Looks like it, okay. Not sure about that one, but it's time, still in the lead after that did get taken out. And we do have the Lagos spawning here, so pretty even going into this one, but the Lightning now picked up by Kid9.
Yeah, and Aquarian getting the freeze is going to be huge, because they can hunt down B at this point. Kid9 still full health, up in the thick of everything. And it looks as though It's Time are going to just focus this Lagos down super early. Can B make the play to get the steal? No, they cannot. Juggaboy picks up all those points.
And again, the lightning control here. The last lightning control just killed Easy right off there. All lightning bolts hitting Easy, and now they're kind of on the prey. But Aquarian taking a huge hit there, goes down. Juggaboy in the lead with all the points now. Mackie also goes down. What do you think Juggaboy's strategy has to be now?
Survive, but he's gone face to face with B. I mean, he just doesn't care that he's carrying all the points. He is just playing over the top aggression, just trying to get more and more. As you see, Zeps going down there as well, and this is absolute slaughter by It's Time.
Yeah, the timing on the salvation is just ridiculous. Everybody on the side that was being very aggressive with all their points, they don't get punished for it, because they're able to get that healing at the perfect time, and now the lead is almost insurmountable. They're able to kill all three of them once again, and now with 30 seconds left, it's not going to be easy for B Sports to take down any of these very healthy members on the side of It's Time.
Absolutely, you need to take out Juggaboy and Aquarian or Kid9 because they're just sharing points. But Juggaboy on the offensive, you don't generally see that with point bearers.
Well, we'll see what happens. Can B make a play? They are so far behind. They need basically the whole of It's Time to get wiped, and it just doesn't look as though they have the damage. They do manage to get Aquarian down here. Kid9 is about 50%, but he does not care. It's Time taking map 2. Map 3, sorry.
Map 3, yeah, they move ahead and they take their second map. 2-1 now in the lead for It's Time, and that timeout seems to really have turned things around, because that's a couple of maps in a row now where it was pretty one-sided in favor of It's Time.
Yeah, It's Time was quite aggressive. There was no, okay, let's hang back, recuperate. No, we're just going to go straight up. We're going to charge at you. Doesn't matter who has the points. Juggaboy, 60-something points after the Lagos, and just, you know what? No, I'm going to try and kill everybody. The best defense is a great offense, is where it is.
Turning everything up to 11, like Kid9 was absolutely everywhere. Juggaboy was just in everybody's face. And what I'm guessing is B Sports were kind of like on the back foot the whole time. They were not expecting that level of aggression to come out of the team that just picked up the Lagos. And when you're against the wall like that, when something crazy happens, like, they get the Lagos and they're still aggressive, your whole plan is out the window. Like, you suddenly have to think on your feet, and they couldn't think fast enough.
Absolutely. On temporaries, when the Lagos goes down, there's usually a minute left, so most teams who take down the Lagos will try to regroup and go, okay, let's protect the point bearer. And I believe B Sports was thinking that, but no, It's Time was like, nah, no need to think.
Yeah.
Just run.
It was pretty interesting. The Lagos got focused down so early that the amount of points that they got from the Lagos was maybe only like 30, right? It gave them a nice lead, but it wasn't like, oh, if we die, the game's over, right? So they were just like, okay, let's keep fighting. It was a little bit risky, obviously, but it works out when you play like that. I was talking about the effectiveness of the timeout. B Sports have taken their own as... it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They're on the ropes now. This is kind of what we were talking about. This feels like a more appropriate time.
Absolutely.
But, It's Time, obviously. It felt like they held themselves to a higher standard. So
Yeah.
even after the one loss, they're like, guys, this is unacceptable. We're taking a timeout. Everybody got scolded. And then they didn't lose from there. But let's see if B Sports can, get a bit of a comeback with this timeout.
For B Sports, they are going into It's Time territory, right? This is going to be keeper of the relics. It's going to be so hard for them to break just the extreme mobility and damage potential of its time on this map.
Yeah.
Do you think they have to make a change here?
I'm not so sure. I believe the team coverage is quite good. I mean, they kept it relatively close on the last time they were on the Keeper of the Relics. It just, some bad plays didn't go in their favor.
Would you swap the Invoker for an Archmage?
Would I do it?
Yeah.
I'd say no. I think right now you've played enough times with Invoker. You just got to ride it out and just regroup.
Well, we're going to get some information on whether or not they have changed because Game 4 is ready to go, so let's hop into that right away. As Maki, someone called it here. Sure enough,
Okay.
Nicely done. You know,
Surprising.
The exact change in the exact class to the Archmage.
Very, very surprising. I imagine Maki would stay with just Invoker because he's played enough rounds with it, but no, Sharna called it. I am wrong.
Yeah, well, this was the class he was supposed to start on, right? He was supposed to be playing Archmage, did make the switch to Invoker. It seems like it's not going to work out, so he switches back as we have a lot of back and forth, but no real points being taken by any team right now.
Absolutely, Maki taking a lot of hits there, but Jugger Boy also going down. This was maybe not the best trade-off because Maki does indeed go down.
As does Jugger Boy. I mean, both teams, again, just feeling each other out. It's very back and forth. In terms of orbs, it's dead even right now. So easy here. Getting back up to his feet. Is he going to be able to find anyone? Maki is in his corner. They take down a couple more orbs for themselves. Are they going to be able to get any kind of engagement? B Sports are looking probably at Aquarian right now, who's very low. Kid9 too. Jugger Boy, though, back up at full health. He's going to be kind of hunting around, seeing what he can find.
B Sports with a health advantage here, but they've got to make their engagements count because they keep getting caught in 2v1s here. Easy getting caught in 2v1, but Zeps is on the side there.
Aquarian's about to go down. He is so low, and he is down. And that throws everything back towards B Sports Gaming. Everyone is at full health. Kid9, though, he's at about 50%, but he just doesn't seem to care. He is playing all day with Easy here, hunting him down. As soon as Easy turns around, he backs out. This incredible play by Kid9.
And it feels like, you know, just the orb control has been a bit better, as you can see in the obvious numbers, but the better orbs have been taken to salvations. It's like the 4th or 5th time that B Sports have been able to pick them up. So they're always refilling to full health, whereas just bleeding is its time so far. Let's see who gets the Lagos, though. It's going to be B Sports Gaming as well, who do take down that big objective.
But Zeps is paying a price for it, just being in the middle over there. Easy with being the point bearer. You got to wonder if he's going to go on the offensive here. Jugger Boy does go down. Kid9 and Aquarian have got to make a play here. But then again, we have a minute left with the Ballista still in play.
Yeah, Kid9 was playing around with Easy for so long that he did get punished just before the Lagos came up. And now he's back at it. He's only at about 25%, but he needs to get back up on his feet as soon as possible. He needs to get some kind of healing because they have to go all in on the Ballista. There are 50 seconds left. B Sports Gaming have the lead, but its time could possibly get those points.
Easy taking some damage here. You cannot leave Easy alone here. If you're on B Sports Gaming, you got to support your point carrier here.
Yeah.
Kid9 does go down at this point.
And Kid9 goes down, but you know they still got to get a couple of kills here. There's so many low health bars on the side of B Sports Gaming. As Easy is going to be able to heal up quite a nice amount here, as he is being protected by Zeps, you could see, and they're just playing it very passively, holding on to the points and looking to snipe that Ballista at exactly the last moment. As Zeps does get the lightning, doesn't get any damage, as down will go the Ballista. They need to take down Easy, but he's still alive, and finally he will go down, as It's Time get a huge point swing in their favor, and now they're gonna actually take the entire best of 5 as they sneak that match away with just about 15 seconds left.
Yeah, that was insane. I thought B Sports was going ahead on top of that, having the right control and whatnot, but yeah, they just went complete. Again, the best defense is the best offense.
Yeah.
And that's what they went with. Their point carrier was just like, no, okay, well, you don't need to protect me. Let's go at it. They're going to take the Ballista down. We're going to kill the person with the Ballista.
Yeah, Kid9 was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he was down at what, 50, 40%? Most of that time still picking up kills. Ends up being the main point carrier. I think he ended that with about 340 points. The guy was absolutely unreal. And what a pickup for Jugger Boy and Aquarian. from when they were at Queen's Gambit to pick up a guy like Kid9 who plays the Raven literally better than anyone else we have seen so far this tournament.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Jugger Boy was the MVP of last tournament, right? Now they've picked up a guy that actually outdoes Jugger Boy. So that's what I was saying. I mean, this team looks like the favorites by far. They take down an extremely strong team in B Sports Gaming 3-1, right? They didn't even go to 3-2. And, you know, I just love their, I wouldn't call it recklessness, but their understanding of the strategy where it's like, okay, you know, either we get kills or we lose. So it doesn't matter who's got points or what, they're just diving in there, and their ability to pick up those kills with such little time left
Absolutely,
was huge.
Well, with their aggressiveness, what was happening was, you know, Jugger Boy it becomes a point carrier and goes, okay, we're all going to be on the offensive, but you never leave Jugger Boy alone. It's always going to be a 2v1 or 2v2 with Jugger Boy. But, you know, give credit to B Sports Gaming where it is like they controlled a lot of the match for quite some time, and it was just in the last, you know, 20 seconds, everything was just shifting back and forth. And in the end, the clutch plays out of its time just came out on top.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to add. I mean, B Sports Gaming took the first map, and that seemed to have angered its time.
Yeah.
And its time, they were like, all right, we need the timeout. They took the timeout, and then it was like, right, we're just going to wreck face for the next 3 games.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, boys, we've got it. And that's exactly what happened.
And we do have the match results here. We're going to take a look at who picked up the most points at the end of it all. It was Kid9 who was the majority of the, you know, he had the majority of the points as he did hold a lot of those points, especially on Keeper of the Relics. We saw that easy. He was trying to pick it up. And it was interesting too because he's on the Berserker, a class that we usually see, you know, diving in, kind of being sacrificial, you know, trying to create space. But actually he was just the guy that used his mobility to hold on to those points. And he did a great job, but unfortunately, I feel like its time is just too strong as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And with B Sports Game, Mackie and Zepso, I think their role in this round was to basically do as much damage as possible for easy to pick up the points on that end. But, you know, I don't think the points tell the full tale, but it does tell me enough to say that, yeah, Kid9 was just out of this world in this round.
I mean, it was a tale of 2 different styles of Raven. I mean, its times Ravens were in your face, always aggressive. Zeps didn't quite have the same level of aggression as its time had, and that really did play the difference. The way the Ravens were playing on its time was just levels above what we saw from B Sports Gaming.
Yeah, just, you know, as Valdez said, the timeout seemed to have worked very efficiently for its time. For B Sports Gaming, you know, like me and Sherna were talking about the class change for Mackie. I don't know if that was a negative or a positive in that sense. I just think that, you know, you went to a class that was more comfortable for you, probably, and it just didn't, the table didn't turn in your favor that way.
Yeah, so, you know, I kind of liked that idea, but again, its time just a little bit too strong. And, you know, as I was saying, it feels like both of these 2 teams that we saw in this best of 5 look to be stronger than the other side of the bracket. So I'm really curious to see when the 2 bracket sides do match up, as we will get the next time, or the next match that we do have, of course, the 3rd and 4th place match. So it is going to be BBB. No, not BBB. They made it to the finals. Elgano up against B Sports Gaming. And that is going to come, guys, after a 15-minute break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the 3rd and 4th place match. Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the Ramoness Championship for Black Desert Mobile, of course. This is the Asia region. We got done with our first couple of best of fives here, the first couple of semifinals, and now we're going to get into the third and fourth place match. It will be Elganome up against B Sports Gaming, and we'll have to see who comes out on top and gets those extra pearls.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with B Sports Gaming, we did see Mackie make a class change there from Invoker to Archmage. Whereas for L, not sure if they're going to make any changes here. I think they did quite well. They took it to the 5, but I don't think they have any worries there.
Yeah, we were talking during the break that we felt like the second match between B Sports and Its Time was the strongest showing from both teams, from the losing team especially. So I'm expecting at least B Sports Gaming to be able to take Elganome, but we cannot count Elganome out. They were pretty solid in that match. So it depends how the playstyles match and how the compositions match up.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, we do have a bunch of events that are going on, so make sure you go to the website and check them out.
At world.blackdesertm.com.
One time you're going to remember it. Trent's going to be sitting there like, oh my goodness.
I don't have my job.
There are times where I forget this.
So what was it again?
World.blackdesertm.com.
Okay, there you go.
I hope to God this is correct.
So make sure you go there and check out the events. We have coupon that will be coming out later. We have participation events, so you guys need to check out the details and figure out how you can participate, of course, and potentially pick up some extra bonus gifts and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool that we have that going on for the Ramoness tournament every time. And yeah, so we're just about almost ready to get into this one. You guys have any predictions about who might take this one?
B Sports.
You're going with B Sports? I'm going with L.
Okay.
Newbies that get lucky, man. I'm going for
There
this.
we go. We'll have to wait and see if the luck can push them over the line up against a very strong B Sports Gaming. But either way, guys, we do have the first map ready to go. So let's hop into that right away. All right, here we go. Back onto Temple Raiders for the first map of this best of 5. As we'll have to wait and see who will get the first step towards the victory.
Yeah, interesting. Mackie this time is starting on his Archmage instead of starting on that Invoker. So that'll be interesting. And we also have a Grandmaster here from Easy.
Yeah, surprising change here. Whereas with L, there's no real changes here. So it'll be kind of interesting. Like, you see L in their element here, whereas B Sports Gaming did make quite a big change there.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how Zeps manages to perform on that Raven. In the last match, he was the third best Raven out of 3. So we'll see if he can up his game this time and be the best out of 2. Pyong, though, is on top right now, absolutely dominant on his Raven at this point. And the map is going towards Elganome.
Absolutely. You saw Easy go down there, Mackie taking a large hit, Zeps already down. Whereas with L, not too many deaths on that side at all, if any. Pyong is just handling his own, but is getting wrecked right now. 2v1 happening over there.
Yeah, Pyong is taking a lot of damage, and he might go down here. 30 points. He would love to save those if possible. And he is still alive for now, surviving for an incredibly long amount of time. They do get the freeze on B Sports Gaming, so certainly helping out in terms of his survivability. And man, Elganome playing as a team, it feels like, whereas B Sports Gaming kind of each doing their own thing. They're now trying to group up as they've realized, well, we're getting pretty far behind in this first map.
Yeah, but don't count out the Logos. That is going to be the key point for B Sports Gaming. They need to take it down. They need to get those points on their side, and they need to take Pyong down.
Pyong does finally go down now, as well as Enmu. Enmu also went down here. The Logos is quickly getting destroyed here.
Yeah, B Sports Gaming waited for this opportunity. They got the kills, but Finale gets the final hit here and turns this game on its head. Elganome now have a strong advantage going into the last 1 minute and 15 seconds.
And definitely took out easy there. Maki taking a huge hit here. You know, like Valdez said, L is playing much like a team here, definitely protecting the payload as much as they can and swarming their enemies. Whereas you see B Sports, who are trying to engage 1v1s more often than not.
Yeah, and now it's going to have to be a team effort from B Sports if they want to try to come back. Everybody needs to group up on a Finale and try to take him down. It's not really going the way they planned, though, as at least they do pick up the salvation, but they are falling very far behind. Elganome in total control of this map.
Yeah, Finale with the point lead there. Enmu and Pyong definitely sticking around Finale, which may come back to bite them because this gives B Sports, who have a storied history, time to recollect, but they are taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, none of them can seem to stay alive long enough to put down enough damage. Easy takes an absolute train to the face. He's very low. Mac is out again. Zeps is the only one on this team who is surviving, and it looks as though he might go down any second now. Everything is turning up for Elganome.
Yeah, and that's going to be the end of it. The salvation taken here by Finale at the finale of this match. And there's really nothing you can do against that, as he does pick up the perfect orb to secure the victory. Map number 1 will go pretty handily into the favor of Elganome.
Absolutely. You saw the point spread there. Obviously, Finale ended up with the most points on their team, but the point spread was pretty even if you take the Lagos out of the equation. They were all winning their engagements, helping each other out when needed, and it just didn't seem like B Sports had enough to combat that teamwork. But again, this is the first match, and they probably are just feeling each other out, and I think the next one will be the same.
Yeah, the next one might be the start of the turnaround because I think B Sports really do need to take that map. So they might be like, okay, we just have to do our gameplay and force our opponents into an uncomfortable position of playing our way instead of their way.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to see the first map be that dominant for the team that I personally wasn't expecting to dominate, but...
Yo, man, lucky guy. Luck meets luck, it's great.
Lucky guys.
I do think with B Sports Gaming, though, the switch from the to the Grandmaster from the Berserker may have kind of thrown them off for a loop a bit, because they do play quite differently.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if he's going to make a switch back, or if he's just going to stick with the Grandmaster and go, okay, let's go for this.
No change. I'm getting the word in my headset now that indeed we are ready to go into game number 2. So no timeout, no change. Let's hop on a Keeper of the Relics right now. And off we go, back onto the second map, and we'll see if B Sports Gaming can put up a bit of a better fight and maybe get us to a tie.
Absolutely. I think with the more open map, this kind of does favor L more because, you know, with Fletcher, Archmage, and Raven that require the open space, this I feel like it might go their way. Obviously, they are working on the ballistas as per usual, but are focusing on the PvP engagement. Zeps is nearly down. Pyong does go down, though.
Yeah, and Pyong as well deleted from the map pretty much. There we go, he is down as well. And this time, things are looking a little bit brighter for B Esports as they're taking down... B Sports Gaming as they're taking down the Monument of Battle.
It was going to happen eventually. I've been struggling not to call them esports gaming, but yeah, they've got a pretty cool name and they have a pretty cool start to this map so far, as Maki just holding on to the majority of the points. Easy not being dominated as much, hasn't lost any health in this map. Enmu really the only one that has been able to hold on to any of these points here for Elganome.
Yeah, and Zeps as well is doing much better in this match than he did in the last one. He managed to put up a positive score last time in the Temple Raiders, and this time again looking like he might be the strongest member of B Sports Gaming in this matchup. He's at 18 points and is helping his team just completely dominate the field as he backs out there as the lightning disappears.
B Sports Gaming with all the advantages here, the orb control, the statue control, as well as the PvP engagements here. With Lagos coming out, you gotta hope that L actually makes a play here, because they're falling really far behind here.
Could just be lulling their opponents into a full sense of security. The Lagos is gonna be kind of ignored at this point as Zeps, Maki, and Easy are just kind of skirmishing with Enmu, Finale, and Pyong. Whoever they can find roughly on their own, they seem to try and collapse on top of, as Pyong, Enmu just circling the arena, trying to find any kind of window of opportunity here.
Okay, the Lightning is going to be taken down here, and that should move everybody away from the Lagos for the brief moment in time just now. You can see that it is pretty slow onto that Lagos damage, as you were mentioning. And if Elginom could pick this up and get the last hit, they're going to be in a pretty good spot with not too much time left. Let's see who is going to get the last hit. It will be Elginom, as Enmu is going to get that last hit and pick up the Lightning. Thankfully, double salvation on the side of B Sports will keep them alive.
Easy does take a bad down there. They are frozen as well. You gotta hope for L here, who have to get the kills on Zeps and Maki. Protecting Enmu as well. This is going to be kind of tough with Fletcher as their point carrier right now. Pyong taking a lot of damage. Maki also going down, but Enmu kind of holding his own there.
Yeah, and they're kind of skirting around, not really taking the ballista at this moment, so they're going to leave it excruciatingly late, and that just gives B Sports that little bit more time to get back into it. We can see it's 94 to 103.
Okay.
The ballista is down. There's 10 seconds left. Can B hold on? They pick up some more points. It's 401 to 96, and B Sports Gaming are still in the lead as we go down to the last second. B Sports Gaming, from the jaws of defeat, take that one.
Yeah, right there. Basically, B Sports Gaming had all the health advantages in the world. They were getting all the objectives and all the PvP encounters in the beginning, and L just couldn't make up the differences there.
Yeah, it was pretty close, right down to the wire, but I think guys on the side of Elginom were just bleeding a little bit too much, right? Their main points carrier didn't quite go down, but everybody else was, just maybe trying to protect and distract. And on the side of B Sports Gaming, able to get the ballista and then hold on to all their points and actually get some extra kills on top of that. So it was a win. It wasn't very dominant. They got the win right towards the end. Although they did have a lead for the majority of it, but it was relatively close, and there were moments in that game where we thought Elginom could potentially come back.
Absolutely. L does have to make some adjustments here, just because, in such an open space, what had happened was B Sports Gaming was kind of conglomerated together at all times. And instead of pinching or trying to pick someone off and catching them on a 2v1, L just tried to engage every single time head on, and it didn't work in their favor.
Yeah, well, we have Game 3 ready to go right now, guys. So we're going to jump back onto Temple Raiders for the third map of the best of 5. And here we go once again. We'll see if B Sports Gaming can keep the momentum after a big win on Keeper of the Relics, or will we see the teams just favor one map over the other like we have in some of our other best of 5s?
Yeah, we can see a big fight over this monument right now. Zeps is trying to be the one to take it down. Is he going to be able to? No, Finale does pick up the early point advantage for his team, and they're going to continue to build on that. Finale here a little bit low, but is an Archmage, can dish out the damage and self-heal themselves back up just a little bit.
Yeah, with Finale taking that statue, it just paid a heavy price for it. Pyong does indeed go down. We saw at the beginning, Finale and Zeps were kind of going at it 1v1, and then Easy came in to come to help. Finale going almost nearly down. Enmu does go down, and the points have swung back in the way of B Sports Gaming.
Yeah, we see the issues with the Fletcher on this map as he kind of flipped backwards up against the wall, not able to move around as much, and was completely caught out. Enmu does pay the price for just not having the awareness of where he was on this closed map.
Yeah, right now there's a bit of a skirmish going on in the middle, and we saw Easy. Oh, Easy does go down. He does go down.
Easy was just deleted off the map. He was at full health, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. You get knocked down at the worst possible moment and you just get hounded by the rest of the enemy team. So good teamwork there from the side of Elginom, as they've got their points nicely spread out here. B Sports a little bit more lopsided, with Zeps having the majority of their points. As they do get frozen up, Finale's looking for that big burst damage onto the monument, as Dung actually is going to be the one that does pick up those points.
Yeah, now the Lagos is pretty beefed up. 37 points is a lot at this point of the game on this map. So we're going to have to see if B Sports can take it. They cannot seem to take Pyong, Enmu, and Finale down long enough and quick enough to be able to open up that window for the Lagos, as we see a little bit of incidental damage here coming from Maki as Izzy once again goes down.
You saw there, L as a team just grouped up in the corner and is just going off for the Lagos. Pyong does take the Lagos now with the point bearer going to Pyong, but is heavily damaged. So coming out of the lightning is going to be the most important part here with a minute remaining.
Yeah, and the rest of them kind of frozen up. So Pyong not going to have too much help, and his teammates just getting bombarded. So B Sports have an opportunity here. They're going to be trying to deny as much healing as possible.
Easy again, taking massive damage, going down Finale, back up on his feet. Pyong at 80 points is still somehow alive. We can see Maki here trying to find what he can. He's hunting Pyong down with the lightning. Is he going to get it? They do get it, but it's not going to be enough. B Sports Gaming need a lot more points to bring this home for them.
Maki did pay a price for that kill now, but Enmu also again going down very quickly here. Got caught in a 2v1.
They got the kill. Now there's only 9 points in the lead, but if they can hold on to their points for just 2 seconds, B Sports will take it. And at the last moment, some extra points going to Elganon, but it's just barely not enough. 3 points was all they needed to take the victory there. B Sports Gaming just barely able to eke out a win there.
Yeah, that last 10-second clutch plays there just took out all the point bearers from L and held on to their points. L obviously putting up a valiant effort in the last 5 seconds, but just wasn't enough. A 3-point differential is only second to the 2-point differential that we saw in the Americas, which is crazy.
I mean, Pyong having all the points going down, there's like 10 seconds left. It does not look like there's enough time for B Sports Gaming to turn that around. Like there's 10 seconds left. All you have to do is hold on the side of Elganon. And then all hell breaks loose. B Sports Gaming take the lead. Elganon tried to come back and within a hair's length between the two teams. That was just the most, I don't even know how to describe it. That was the closest possible finish I think we could have had from these two teams on that map.
Absolutely, and what we saw at the end was Pyong was caught in the 2v1 and you saw a member of L try to come in and help, but it was just too late. So by the time, Pyong went down, they just focused on the next member and they're just like, okay, no. And all the points went towards B. Valiant effort on L's part for sure.
Yeah, so we do have a timeout. I'm sure you guys can kind of guess who may have taken this timeout. Here it is, Elganon, as a very close loss in the last map and now kind of on match points to potentially lose here. They want to try to gather themselves, try to get 2 maps in a row so they can sneak away the best of 5. And it'll be interesting to see what they do go for. This means that B Sports probably not going to change up their class composition as well.
If they do change up their class composition, L will know how to deal with it because they're just expecting themselves to make any changes if necessary. I do believe L will just have to make a bit of a strategy readjustment because on Keeper of the Relics, they were blown out of the water right from the gate.
I feel like Easy would benefit from rolling off the Grandmaster at this point. I just don't think the composition of Elganon really allows the Grandmaster to truly shine. Like, you kind of want more to go against things like Berserker. You want to go against things that you can grab. And I mean, there's nothing really you can grab on the side of Elganon.
Fair. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to catch people on L just because they're really good with their mobility. B Sports Gaming, Zeps, Maki just carrying that team for a while. Easy taking a lot of hits and dealing enough damage for everyone else to pick up scraps, which is great. You saw on Temple, B Sports was definitely focused on objectives first, then PvP. So we'll see how it goes for Keeper.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way it goes. I think that they've had ample time now with their timeout to discuss what potential new strategies they will use as we are ready to jump onto map number 4, and let's get into that right now. Well, actually, it looks like, okay, there we go.
Any last minute changes?
Yeah. And, just taking a little bit of extra time to get into the game. But it does look like we are just about ready as we will start up. And
do you think we'll ever see the Clown Fiesta Keeper of the Relics where the ballista goes down within the first 30 seconds and then all hell breaks loose in terms of points?
I don't think they can afford to do this right now. If they take the ballista in the beginning, it's one of the weirdest plays I would see. However, Oh my goodness, Zeps does take a massive hit there. Obviously very early in the game right now. Both ballistas obviously taking a lot of damage so that they can make the play in the last 30 seconds as they have been doing throughout this entire series and today.
Yeah, Pyong's still showing that he is one of the better players on his team. Finale here trying to get down this Monument of Battle. Easy, just kind of skirting around the ballista. Like you can see that B are playing very, very defensively right now. They're sitting back. They're trying to find these windows to open, and a window opens on Finale, who manages to get out, and that is one of the struggles you're going to have as a Grandmaster. Pyong just getting away, easy, almost down, and he is down.
Just takes a lot of hits there. Pyong, Enmu, and Finale definitely playing as a team, making sure that they can just pinch onto people. Finale now focusing on the Monument there. Enmu just gets out of with his engagement there, doing really well. All focusing on the Monument now.
All three members on the side of B Sports Gaming were below 10 points, but Zeps will pick up that Monument at least, and that is breath of fresh air. A lot of low health bars on the side of Elganom, and now the Lightning does come out as you see Enmu on the run, just trying to get away from that one. So B Sports with, a couple of orbs picked up and the Monument, they will be able to come back in terms of the points.
And now with Lagos out, Finale took it down. Enmu also now takes it down. Full health, Zeps is, dire straits. You gotta wonder what the focus of L is gonna be. Is it gonna be Lagos, or are we just gonna go after Zeps or Maki?
Well, it doesn't matter. B Sports Gaming are fully back up with all that restoration they have. Finale trying to do what he can. He's sitting at 11 points, raining down the damage. Lagos down to 14 health bars. Is he going to be able to? Are they going to be able to find a window to take it down, or will B just be able to steamroll through the Lagos and then straight through the heart of Elganom?
They are focusing on the PvP engagements, whereas Lagos is taking the peripheral damage. But now B Sports is closed in, down to 7, down to 6, 5. Everyone is now clambered in the middle. Maki takes the Lagos and becomes the point bearer of his team. Ballista still in effect.
That salvation is going to keep Elganom healthy, but again, with the Lagos going down, it's going to be B Sports with a pretty large lead. It's going to be hard to overcome here. Maki on full health, even though he did pick up all of those points, and there's only 30 seconds left.
Yeah, he is frozen, but does manage to get out. Maki just throwing down the pain to see what he can get. Finale and Pyong both fall as well. Everything is coming up now for B Sports Gaming. The only one left is Enmu that they could probably get the kill on. He is very low. Maki might be able to come in from the back and take him down, but decides to go for the objectives instead. And Zeps is in trouble here. He's at 46 points. That's a pretty beefy bounty on his head.
Man.
The ballistas go down. There are 3 seconds left, and it looks as though B Sports have done enough.
And that's going to do it. The 3-1 victory here in our third place match will go the way of B Sports Gaming. And Maki, for the last 36 seconds after he got the Lagos, after they picked up the Ballista, he was totally untouched and just able to hold on to all of those points.
Yeah, on the side of L, what it seemed like is as soon as Maki had all those points, they just didn't know what to focus on. Do we go for that? Do we focus on the Ballista? What do we do next? And B Sports Gaming just picked them off on 2v1s and made sure they could never actually recollect their thoughts and regroup and make a strategy. Enmu was just kept in dire straits, and they didn't kill Enmu until the very end. That seemed like a very intentional play on their part. They just let Enmu do this thing with about 10-20% of their health left.
Yeah, so they could take him down easier right at the eclipse of that match. And B Sports Gaming played that phenomenally. That was some great play from them. The changes, I'm still not too sure about the Grandmaster in that matchup, and especially on Keeper of the Relics, where you can kind of negate him a lot, but it worked for them this time, and that's what matters.
And it was impressive that they can change the one class and still take the 3-1, right? Because other than that one map that they did drop, it was relatively clean to the side of B Sports, I think, especially that last map. And both Keeper of the Relics were very dominant in their side. So they make it work, and they were obviously the better team this time around. So pretty cool stuff to see them winning that first one. And now all we have left, really, we're going to go over the match results in just a bit. But other than that, we just have the finals left after.
Absolutely, and especially in that matchup, give credit to L. A bunch of newbies who got here and took a win away from a very, very storied team that is B Sports Gaming. just to get that win, there's no shame in that. You should be very proud of yourselves. B Sports Gaming, though, did put a lot of their experience on display in those crucial final 30 seconds, just showing what it is that they do best.
So we do have the match results here. We're going to see who picked up the best amount of points at the end of the day. It was actually Finale from Elganome. Definitely the guy that was carrying this team just a bit, but a team effort looks like actually on the other side from B Sports Gaming.
Yeah, Zeb's definitely picked it up in this match compared to his first match where he was very shut down. And the points kind of show what we were saying. Like the Grandmaster kind of ends here at 123 on a team that ended up with the most points. I mean, he didn't really come into effect as much as he probably would have had, Elganome had a different formation in their team, but it was enough to get the win.
Absolutely, and give credit where credit's due. Finale getting the top rank in this match just because of being able to stay alive. Survivability, mobility was great. MM Pyong definitely did their thing, but B Sports Gaming just came out on top on this with the concentrated team play in all this.
Yeah, and it does feel like that second side of the bracket was a little bit stronger, especially after seeing this result. So we'll have to wait and see what BBB can do up against It's Time in our finals, because It's Time, they were able to defeat B Sports Gaming 3-1. So you look at the bracket results already, and it's not going to be easy, but it'll be interesting at least.
Absolutely. I think the finals will be kind of great. Again, story team in It's Time, a relatively new composition for BBB. If we see it like we saw it in the third place, fourth place match, I hope it's going to be quite interesting, because it's always decided in the last 30 seconds. These are great teams that are in here, and just clutch plays coming out left, right, and center.
Yeah, and I'm actually excited that we get to see Kid 9 again. Kid 9 was absolutely phenomenal. Like, props to Mujo. Like, Mujo was great in that first match, but Kid 9 was on a completely different level to everyone else. And I'm excited to see more of his Raven play than I am to see Mujo on the Archmage.
Yeah. I agree. Sorry, I apologize for taking that away from you. I think Mujo as well as Project will be kind of great to see. And again, Mujo, Project Bad Soul, their teamwork has to be at a premium to deal with, Kid 9, Jugger, and Aquarium.
Yeah, it's going to be a fireworks set matchup there in the finals. So really looking forward to that. Guys, we're going to take a 15-minute break before we do get into the finals. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ramoness Championship for Black Desert Mobile. And we're getting into the finals of the Asia region here. It's one best of 7 to decide who is going to have all of the glory and the majority of the pearls in this region. And it's going to be BBB up against It's Time. And we'll have to wait and see who takes the cake.
Yeah, strong favorites have to be It's Time. They were so dominant in their first game, whereas BBB, they struggled quite a bit against Elganon.
Absolutely, and with It's Time, storied members composing the team, whereas with BBB, you have one member who has had some placement in previous tournaments, but again, I'm not putting it past BBB. I like rooting for the underdog, and I do believe BBB is the underdog going into this matchup.
Yes, you're exactly right. They do seem to be the ones behind a little bit here, but, doesn't matter until we do get into the best of 7, of course, to see who's actually going to play better when the time comes. As you can see here, the results here, BBB taking out Elganon 3-2, and then It's Time disposing of B Sports Gaming 3-1. And then, what is not shown here actually is the third place match. B Sports Gaming did take the 3-1 victory over Elganon. So you can see kind of the hierarchy, right? It's Time with the 3-1 over B Sports Gaming, who took the 3-1 over Elganon, which was a better score than BBB were even able to get. So it'll be interesting to see if BBB can rise to the challenge.
Yeah, and here we have BBB, we have Project, Mujo, and Bad Soul. I gotta say, Mujo was incredible in his first game. He wasn't playing Fletcher though, he was playing Archmage, I think.
Yeah.
So that switch definitely helped him out. Project on the Nova was a little bit on the quiet side.
Yes.
But Bad Soul was there.
Yeah, Bad Soul made the switch as well to Windwalker there. And, again, like we said before, had played the roles quite well. They do focus as a team, not as individuals, and, made the semifinals quite interesting to see against L.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Project handles the Nova this time round, because last time he was saying, I am the best, and then we saw him and he was okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, these guys are not just okay. They don't even need an introduction because everybody should know these guys. A couple of them, Trigger Boy and Aquarian, were, of course, second place the last time around in last December. Even Jugger Boy able to pick up the MVP as one of the members of the second place team was very impressive. And then they got Kid 9, who is just incredible. They're a huge addition to this team, and in our minds, the current MVP. And we'll have to wait and see how they all perform here in the finals and really get a sense of exactly how strong this team is.
Yeah, well, they came up just shy last time they were out, so maybe they could come. Maybe they will come out just shy this time, and It's Time not managing to take it. But you look at the odds, and everything here is kind of screaming It's Time. They're better overall. They have a better Temple Raiders, and their Keeper of the Relics, even after this, is better than BBB's.
Absolutely. As we said before with BBB, their teamwork is one of their key components, but it has to be at a premium to, take on the juggernauts that are It's Time.
Yeah, it's not going to be any easy feat. It does feel a little bit like David and Goliath, but we need to see the best of 7 to really know, where BBB ranks in terms of their strength. Of course, we only got to see this the round of 4, right, the semifinals. Yep. So maybe they had one of their worst games in the semifinals, and it was like, oh, we were really weak, but actually we're much better than this. So who knows? That's my hope, at least, that they can show that they are worthy opponents for It's Time. And we're going to find out right now, guys. We have game number 1 of the finals ready to go, so let's hop on to Temple Raiders right away. And here we go, right onto the map here. First map of a best of 7. And this is where we get the best feel of where these two teams line up.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, It's Time just collapsing all over BBB. Project goes down, Bad Soul is down, Mujo is almost down, and now he is That is a statement of intent from its time. That was an absolute slaughter right off the bat.
You know, you saw it. Mujo was flanked by Project trying to get their early advance, but all three of its time were together and just took the 3v2. Then it was a 3v2 again, and then a 3v1.
Aquarian is down this time on its time. Bad Soul does manage to pick up that kill, but Kid9 looking for the revenge. Mujo is around as well, trying to help out his teammates. Is he going to be able to do it? Mujo's going very, very low as well.
Yeah, with Mujo just taking a lot of hits there. Jugger Boy also taking some damage, and they're trying to clear out some of the walls to make sure some mobility is in play here. But Project getting hurt there. He's trying to get out of dodge, but runs into the wall as well. Mujo is taking damage, almost down. Monument is going probably in the way of BBB.
Yeah, Kid9 does fall. Was grabbed there, I believe, by Blade Soul. So a little unlucky on Kid9, who is now sitting bottom of his team, as Jugger Boy is on an absolute tear at the moment.
Yeah, and this is the perfect timing for the salvation. Everybody's going to be healed up after they took a massive lead. They're getting all the kills, all the objectives. You can see the relics up there at the top as well. It is pretty big domination so far to start off this match, as many members on the side of BBB have died multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely. I think BBB will need to, take a look back on this match and make sure that they know what to do going forward, because this is the first match, and the second match as well will be the first time on that map. They have to feel each other out. So recuperate, see what you can do. Lagos will be a big factor in this map, though.
Yeah, Mujo did go down, so this Lagos is so critical for BBB. They really need to get the steal, and it doesn't look like they're going to do it. Aquarian gets that kill. He's sitting on a lot of points. Bad Soul, Mujo, and Project are in a world of hurt right now. They're separated around the map, so we'll have to see what they can do.
Yeah, Aquarian was stalking Mujo with the lightning and is trying to finish it off. Got the finish on it as well. Juggerboy, Aquarian sitting on a lot of points. Kid9 leading in their initial engagements here.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. I mean, nobody on the side of BBB has really any points. This is the most one-sided match we've seen so far.
But Jugger Boy goes down. That could signal the change.
30 seconds left.
One step at a time.
It does feel like its time has heard us rave about Kid9, and now Aquarian and Jugger Boy are leading the charge on their team here. Mujo holding his own here, but Bad Soul and Project need to do more than just eat hits at this point.
Yeah, a lot of damage taken here by Kid9 and Aquarian. They're actually trying to get into the thick of things. They do a nice amount of damage to the enemy team, though, at the same time. 10 seconds left. BBB need a full wipe if they want to come back in this one, but Aquarian picks up the salvation, and I think that will let them hold on to the victory. So there you have it. B-team victory, and of course, that is its time, as Aquarian ends up with the majority of the points there. Nicely done. They were very far ahead for about 3 minutes, 20 seconds in that match, and then BBB right at the end nearly staged to come back.
Yeah, they did get Jugger Boy down, which was a huge amount of points in their favor. Things looked as though it might be swinging. I think at that point, Aquarian was also a little bit low and caught in no man's land. He did manage to pick up the salvation, which then, that sealed the deal. After that, there was no way BBB could really win that. So a great game. Jugger Boy, though, was unreal this time. He really turned up for this first game in the finals.
Jugger Boy, if you're listening to us rave about Kid9, we're sorry. That being said, though, with BB, I think in the last 30 seconds they did focus their targets on Kid9. They got Kid9 down, then they took out Jugger Boy, and Aquarian was the last one to go, but there just wasn't enough time left. They got the engagements correct in the last 30 seconds. It just wasn't enough time to carry out the full plan.
Yeah, so pretty interesting first map here. We are going to go on to the second one right now, Keeper of the Relics, and see if anything changes up. Let's jump into that map right now. Here we go, ready to fight. Both teams running straight at those ballistas.
Yeah, Jugger Boy with excellent control of his skills, making sure he can cover the most amount of distance, and is all up in Project's face, who does go down. But Jugger Boy getting a little low. He's going to put on some of the damage onto that ballista. Mujo looking to try and get the kills. onto Kid 9. Kid 9 is almost out. He does survive. Salvation is there on the side of It's Time, and Kid 9 is rescued from the claws of death there.
Yeah, Project was caught in the 2v1 there and just went down. However, Jugger Boy and Kid 9 working as a team got the salvation out, healed right back up, and now it's just, you know, the PvP engagement is pretty close, but the objective is going in the way of It's Time. Aquarian now trying to do as much damage as possible here. He has heal up, got the freezes on them. Mujo kind of down, going down. Bad Soul going down. Huge amount of damage being taken by BBB here. Mujo goes down. Bad Soul getting out of dodge, hopefully.
This is so much action here in the beginning of this map. As the statue will go down on the side of Jugger Boy, will pick up the majority of those points. And now he's even able to pick up some more orbs. So once again, It's Time getting a pretty substantial lead to start off the second map as well.
However, Kid 9 goes down. Aquarian's going to take some huge damage here too. Oh, Kid 9 has not gone down. Is hanging on with a sliver here. Can he win this engagement? Hold on as long as he can.
He managed to kill Mujo before going down. And I mean, Kid 9 has a pixel of health before going down to Project. And now it is 34 to 59. It's Time have complete objective control. Look at that, 11 orbs, 1 monument to 5 orbs of BBB. But this Lagos is pretty hefty. That's 47 points possible on the board, which might continue to go up before it falls. BBB need to secure this objective to stay in this map.
Kid 9 went down. Jugger Boy goes down. Aquarium is at 40 or 50 to 40% here. Project and Bad Soul teaming together to wipe a lot out of It's Time. Lagos is almost going down, or has gone down.
Yeah, and BBB did manage to pick it up, and this map has completely turned on its head. It's Time are down about 63 points here. BBB in control. Sure, they're losing the overall objective numbers, but they did get that Lagos, and that is the difference between these teams, 113 to 54 at this point.
And with a minute left, you gotta hope for some kind of salvation or health here, but Project goes down, Mujo goes down, and now it's gonna be a focus on Bad Soul. Everyone's closing in.
Oh, he's all alone, 3-on-1, that's just not fair, and It's Time are just wrenching back control of this game. Oh man, they lose the big objective, but it doesn't matter because they're just better at fighting, it seems, as they will totally wipe the enemy team. They've got a nice lead here, 20 seconds left, but some extra damage going the way of It's Time. Aquarian nearing his doom. BBB also taking some big hits though, and Bad Soul is also going to go down, and once again, they wipe the floor with BBB, and they will take down that Ballista, and It's Time just, oh, they're even going to deny the Ballista take. A huge victory there by It's Time once again.
Absolutely, with Jugger Boy being the point bearer there and still keeping on the pressure. You saw Kid 9 and Aquarian there. As soon as one member BB goes down, they just start honing in on the, just like hounds and getting 3v1s each time to wipe out the team. And then as Valda said, denying them the Ballista take as well. Impressive and overwhelming victory there.
Yeah, It's Time just completely manhandled that game towards the end. I mean, it was just insane. Like, what could BBB have done?
At that point, just making sure that, well, whenever we saw 3v1s, the other two members were always trying to pinch and trying to make their way around to get it, or to get orbs, or to make it up. But at that point, you know, the orb control was lost, and you've got to focus on the PvP at that point.
BBB even got the Lagos, and it just didn't matter. Like, sure, you got the Lagos, but we're just going to kill everyone on your team 3 times over and take the lead.
Absolutely, yeah. It seemed like when the Lagos was taken, they just rained hell on everybody there.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just the teamwork seems to be better. The PvP battling much better for It's Time as a team, and they're just like hounds. The composition that they have, it allows them to just immediately select a target and delete that target, and they've just been really good at their focus as a team. And I have to say again, you know, the addition of Kid 9 just makes this roster so talented. Couple of times in a row though, it hasn't even really been Kid 9 that's been the MVP really. It's been Jugger Boy, Aquarian. This time around, Jugger Boy getting the majority of the points and still able to get a bunch of kills on top of holding those points.
Yeah, I'd say Jugger Boy really did kind of turn it up, and showed that he got MVP last time around, but he really wants his name in the hat this time around, and it is going to be difficult to decide that MVP because Jugger Boy has been so dominant against BBB.
Absolutely. With BBB, I think they have to make sure that Bad Soul doesn't get into bad engagements there. Muju doing what he does best, just making sure they go in and out. But Project being left alone, being the point bearer, and when it's a 3v1, everyone's going to swarm on you. There's nothing else you can do, especially when you're as Nova and you're going to be swarmed. Your shield can only do so much for you.
Yeah, so ahead 2-0, or it's time. We'll see if they can keep their dominance up here as we are going to hop onto map number 3 right now. And here we go. 2 maps in a row going the way of its time. It means they have one map on each of our different maps here that we do have alternating. We'll see if they can keep up the dominance.
Yeah, and I mean, BBB straight off this are playing a lot more aggressive. They managed to get Aquarian down very, very early, but they did lose Blade Soul. Kid9 is almost down as well. Jugger Boy took a huge hit there, but he's going to dish Pain back to whatever he can. And in terms of the objectives, they're about to start spawning. We'll see who has the better map control at this point. Aquarian does have the restoration. He might be able to get Kid9 back in this, and he does.
Well, you saw with Bad Soul, he was actually about to be taken out, but got the heal off really quickly. Mujo, Bad Soul, and Project working together, trying to make sure they get the matchups right. Aquarian taking on all 3 members at this point, and doing well. Jugger Boy flanking on the side, but is caught in a 2v1 now. Can Mujo finish the job here?
This is just absolute chaos. The only couple of guys that are sticking around and not dying are Mujo and Jugger Boy, and they're really the key players of their respective teams. As they hold the majority of the points now, the other guys have died a lot. Jugger Boy gets grabbed here, and he's in a lot of trouble. Still able to dish back some damage, though, as he runs away.
Yeah, his team kind of came in clutch there and saved him. And Jugger Boy gets this big heal down, and that just rings the end bells of BBB. It's time. Are completely dominant on this map. That's 10 orbs to their name, to the 2 of BBB. It's time. Just 33 points ahead at this point is almost unheard of.
They gotta turn this around now. Mujo, Project, and Bad Soul have gotta be able to focus their fire on somebody, or at least drag someone out for a 2v1. But even then, it seems like Aquarian is accustomed to 2v1s and is able to hold his own. With Lagos out now, Lagos' health going down really quickly here. Not even peripheral fire, everyone's just focused in the center. It goes in the way of its time. Kid9 coming out with the lightning here.
The problem, once again, is that the people on the side, the players on the side of BBB, they just get focused down, and then you don't have any DPS on the Lagos, so it's so easy for its time to get the last hit and just dominate the map control. Nobody on the side of BBB is able to challenge its time at all.
Yeah, Muju got kind of stuck right underneath that Lagos and just took so many hits on the side of its time. He just went down like a piece of paper. And we see Jugger Boy almost down here. Could there be a one last twist in this story? BBB are at 19 points. Its time are at 111. Make that 117. It just keeps going up. BBB need an absolute miracle to turn this around, and that will start by killing off Jugger Boy and Kid9.
But they're not going to be able to get Jugger Boy away. They're getting Jugger Boy and Kid9 always together, and they keep helping each other out. Aquarian providing cover fire all the way from the back. Kid9 taking down a lot of damage here, but cannot be finished off here.
They really need to take down Kid9, but it is not looking easy. The orb control, it's 22-5 right now, which means more healing, more lightnings, more ways to avoid damage for the side of its time, and Kid9 is running away perfectly. Nobody can get any damage done to this guy for the last 30 seconds, and it really does look like the dominance will continue here as its time are going to close out yet another map with over 100 points here on Temple Raiders. Another very dominant win.
Yeah, it looked as though Bad Soul was going to catch Kid9 there. For quite a few of the times, it looked as though he was going to get caught. Kid9 just amazingly stays out of it. He's like, yeah, if you catch me, I'm dead, but I'm going to kite the 2 of you around this map like it's nothing. Like your NPCs, like your mobs. He basically just kited them everywhere, and there was nothing BBB could do. And when the rest of his team was up, the 2 who were in like pursuit, they had no choice but to disengage and try to protect themselves.
Absolutely, and especially Aquarian, like a special shout out to Aquarian there. At the end, you saw that Mujo was trying to get points off of Aquarian, even though Aquarian had the least points on his team. But before Aquarian went down, took Mujo down with him. So, okay, fine, you want to get points from me, I'll take you down with me. And like you said, Kid 9 just dancing and weaving in and out. Just incredible plays there. Jugger Boy providing fire for both sides. For both Aquarian, as well as for Kid 9. Just teamwork at a premium there.
And we do have a, I forgot the word as I was saying it, yeah.
Timeout?
Not timeout, but that is what happened. We do have a timeout here for BBB, as you can imagine. Losing 3 in a row. They're on the ropes. They need to pull off the reverse sweep. It's not easy to do in a best of 7, trust me. And 4 in a row, it's not going to be easy when every loss has been pretty one-sided.
At this point, if you're BBB, do you just say, right, we're almost down, we're almost out, let's go out with a bang, let's pick 3 shies and go at it?
Yeah, I mean, I like that strategy. That's a good idea.
If you and I were on a team, yes, this would happen. We wouldn't win. We wouldn't even be here. But that would not work out. I would say on BBB's side, if you have backup classes, now's the chance to use them. Because right now, whatever it is that you're using right now isn't working, and you gotta throw a wrench at its time and see if they can dodge it.
Well, we'll see what strategy they have employed here as we do have Game 4 ready to go. So let's hop on to Keeper of the Relics once again for our 4th map. As we are going to be hopping back into the action here. One last try for It's Time. We'll see if they can close it out here 4-0.
Yeah, Bad Soul on the Fletcher, trying to do what he can. Mujo, though, is absolutely melting here. He's almost down and out. Kid 9 is down, and Jugger Boy have already taken the knee here. They've already gone down. So we're going to have to see if It's Time can get the better of BBB in this one. Like, BBB are absolutely storming this match.
Right now, got the objective controls. Mujo was about to go down, but Project came in for the help and got the kill on Kid 9. And you see Bad Soul here also getting a kill here. They are dominating. They're making sure that they're working together on this, and that is going to be key. However, Mujo does go does go down now, and Jugger Boy picks up that kill. And now we have to see, how does BBB respond to that? They came out of the gates storming, but the points are right back in there again. It's 5-3 in objectives, and PvP slightly in the favor of BBB right now.
You say keeping it up. We've got to see how BBB can continue to keep up this tempo. This is very high tempo from what we've seen of BBB, and keeping it up is tiring. They might start to slip later in the game. It's Time, though. They're comfortable at this tempo, and they're within grasp of BBB's point total, even though they've probably died a little bit more.
Aquarian taking a lot of hits here, and as Sherna said, it seems like BBB is trying to best It's Time at their own game, which is a high tempo speed here. Project Bad Soul hanging around together, trying to make sure they keep around in the center. Jugger Boy and Aquarian trying to grab that up now.
And we'll see where who's going to have control over this objective this time around. It's Time, kind of multiple times in a row, have been able to kill the enemy players and then take the Lagos without too much pressure. But this time around, it does look like BBB have more control over the Lagos.
Yeah, with Jugger Boy sitting at 30 points right now, health is quite down. Lagos is kind of sitting in the middle, and now they've gone into a massive group fight here. Jugger Boy trying to hang on and gets a bit of a heal here.
He does indeed, but look at the map control from It's Time. They might have been behind, but they're ahead now, just purely on these orbs as well. And the Lagos does go to BBB, but Mujo is very, very low. Jugger Boy is down, Aquarian is down, Kid 9 is still up somewhere, and they're trying to hunt him down, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it right now. So we're going to see, how do It's Time recuperate from this? They're down 100 points.
They absolutely need to catch up. However, Mujo and Project paid a heavy price on going after that Lagos, because Aquarian just rained down as much as he could before dying. And now they're just looking for as many orbs and many objectives to fulfill, avoiding the engagement. Now they haven't entered into it. Project is going down. Bad Soul Mujo taking heavy damage.
Yeah, Project kind of ran in there, and now Bad Soul has followed him up, but the three of them didn't go in together, and now Mujo, he has a lot of points. He's pretty low. It's Time has stuck together, and they're looking for that final kill onto Mujo. We'll Let's see if they can pick it up.
And gets the ballista as well. Mujo about to go down, does go down. And now BBB, 10 seconds left, has to make up for the differences here. 389 to 404. Can they pull this off? 5 seconds left, get a kill.
Oh, and they got the kill onto Project. That's going to do it here. That's going to secure the 4-0 for its time, as they will destroy them in the finals here of the Asia Cup for the Ramoness Championship. What a performance from the side of its time. They dominated them 4 maps in a row.
Absolutely. You know, Sharon said it at the beginning of the match, it seemed like BBB was trying to keep up the tempo and go at it, but its time lives in that tempo. You know, you've got to either best them and continue to best them throughout the entire time. So for the first 30 seconds, yes, BBB came out of the gates, but its time just bided their time, staying in their own tempo there.
Yeah, they adapted incredibly quickly. Like, they were down, they were looking hurt, but somehow, even though they were dying, they weren't losing the map control. They continued to hold on to those objectives. They continued to pick up orbs. They continued to just pick up everything they needed, and they even lost Lagos again on that map, and then just went, all right, well, you've been playing it at the tempo you think we're going to play at. Let's just turn it up even more. And then just its time came out, steamroll BBB towards the end of that.
Absolutely. You know, their point bearers are mostly Kid9 and Juggler Boy, but, you know, you can't overlook Aquarian, who every single time you thought he was dead, pulled off miraculous plays, gets someone down, then gets killed, and always trade off the deaths there and made sure that Juggler Boy as well as Kid9 stay alive as much as possible.
Yeah, and it's a team effort. You know, this is kind of what happened the last time around in last December when they came as a team, at least Aquarian and Jugger Boy. Aquarian, he wasn't the main guy. He wasn't, you know, the MVP. Jugger Boy ended up getting that award, but Aquarian just did so much work in the back lines, protecting his teammates, getting some of the kills as well, and it was pretty insane stuff from that team. They looked like the absolute favorites, and we are going to take a look at some of the results here from that matchup. Should be pretty one-sided at the end of looking at this.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does tell a tale that one team got first, second, and fourth overall in terms of score. Just unbelievable from its time, with Project being the only player on the side of BBB to break that dominance of its time. And we're talking about Aquarian. It is really hard as a support kind of player to make a name for yourself and be the MVP, but Aquarian was kind of the rock in his team. Whenever they needed him, he was there.
Yeah, Aquarian was definitely bouncing in and out of engagements for both Ravens and making sure getting all the objectives as well. You know, the objective control was at a premium there. The last round that we just saw, they were down 5-0 in orbs, and then just boom, boom, boom. Suddenly it's 12-8, and that was insane. Obviously, props to BBB for keeping it up here. You know, keeping up the tempo with its time is rough, but they did a remarkable job there. As you said, Project cracking that barrier there. Mujo doing his thing. Bad Soul definitely providing the cover fire as much as they could.
Yeah, and it's pretty rough. Like we were talking about before, I think that this bracket was a little bit lopsided, as both its time and B Sports rather were looking really strong. But at the end of the day, it's time to take down both teams here, and they will be the champions of Asia. Jugger Boy is back again. This time he gets the victory alongside of Aquarian, and Kid9 is a massive addition to this roster. So you're definitely going to be seeing more of this guy, and it turns out that Kid9 will pick up the MVP for the Asia region, and this guy was just, he was so flashy, and he was everything that you would want out of your MVP.
Yeah, and the MVP is voted on by us in the production here, so, I mean, let's justify that a little bit. When he got points on, I think it was the third temple, he just survived. He danced around that arena like it was nothing. I think he did like 4 laps, doing nothing but skills, keeping Bad Soul at bay while the rest of his team were like spawning back. His play was phenomenal. A good shout for Juggle Boy can be done. A good shout for Aquarian, but I think Kid9 was just that little bit extra special.
Absolutely. I don't think you can take anything away from Jugger Boy or Aquarian. Playing their roles as perfectly as they possibly could. just seeing that out of Kid 9, like you said, the dancing for about a minute straight, as well as in the semifinals, doing what he did, and then in the finals, okay, I don't have the most points, okay, I'm going to do the initial engagements. And, you said that Kid 9 was an addition, but it seems like they've been playing together for ages. That kind of chemistry, you cannot teach that chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly worked out for them, and they're very well practiced. That's generally what happens with your best teams in any tournament and any game. So really huge props to them. We do have, guys, something that I'm sure a couple of you have been waiting for, the coupon code here, Asia BRC Final Day 1. So make sure you do put that in. We're going to have coupon codes at the end of each region's finals. So there was one yesterday for the Americas. We have another one here for Asia. And of course, with Europe coming a little bit later on today, we will have one then as well.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some people trying to see yesterday's coupon code and trying to find out what today's would be by changing the numbers around. Didn't work. Like they knew what they were doing. They completely changed it up. So the EU one will probably be something even more different than
the
that.
strategy was remarkable, but it did not work out for you guys. The coupon codes are indeed different, but yeah, this was an absolute joy to cast.
Yeah, and that's going to conclude the Asia Finals. Again, another huge shout out to It's Time and Kid9N for picking up the MVP there. He wasn't only good in the finals, but also the semifinal match that they had against V-Sports Gaming was pretty fantastic. So really cool stuff from It's Time. They absolutely deserve the win. We do have the Europe final, which will be coming on a little bit later. I think it's about 3 hours from now, which will be the start time of the Europe region. So
Exactly
looking
3
forward.
hours.
Yeah, exactly 3 hours.
3 hours.
We saw a 2-point difference in the Americas. We saw a 3-point difference in the Asias. Europe,
1 point.
1 point or 4
We're going to
points.
see a tie. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see a tie.
We have had ties in the past. What happens is you just read it out.
Yeah, these two tournaments have been a lot of fun to just watch and see all the extremely talented players. We marvel over It's Time, but B Sports Gaming, good shouts. L, good shouts. BBB, great shouts as well. It takes a lot to be here, and congrats.
Yeah, so awesome to see all the Asian teams coming out here. We are going to have the Europe region coming out in about 3 hours, guys, so make sure you tune into that. But for now, we will see you in about 3 hours.